because there are some issues with this, and I want to get you guys' opinion.
No, Bloodsports is cool and everything like that, and doing politics and shit like that is fine. Like I branched out into trying to stream video games for a reason, because that shit gives me a headache, like literally a headache, doing all the time. Because I like heavy geopolitical and historical content and shit like that, and when it comes to like debate panels and shit, when I try and take that kind of heavy equipment to a debate panel, it fucking never works, dude. Like, I'll fucking lay out some shit and it nukes a conversation. You know what I mean? It never works. Like I'll be like, well, and people are like, you fucking liberal, and I'm like, well, in international relations, like realism and liberalism.
So, well, no, you have a global understanding. You have a global understanding, and that's different, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's not really that. It's like
it doesn't mean that you're left or right or whatever. It means that you have a global understanding of the world. More so than a lot of other people do.
It's like learning about all this like sad shit going on in the world and dunking on people only lasts so long, like for the dopamine effect, and then it just starts becoming cortisol.
Yeah, your belly grows because you're painfully anguished by what's happening to other people. Yes. Concur.
Yeah.
Hey, Red, who are you talking about? Hold on, I got somebody in my chat saying some shit. Red, you can come into the conversation whenever you want. You got a great headset and a great mic. Don't feel sheepish.
Can you guys hear me properly?
Oh, I can hear you great now. You're coming through really clear. Yes.
Okay. So the thing is that whenever I see people getting off, someone getting off making ridiculous and stupid comments, I just tend to see that they are not thriving of the intellectual point they're making. They're thriving of the attention at any cost, and just feeling that behavior just leads to stupid attention-seeking discussions in which people stop making any intellectual arguments and they just like shout and scream and say the most controversial thing they can.
Oh, there's a very big prominent right winger named CTV on Twitch that likes to do that a lot. I made him rage quit, and I actually reminded him of that today, or yesterday, in the Dylan Burns Hippy Dippy chat, and he cowered. And I you know what? The only reason I did it was because I'm not an asshole. I don't like to gloat, I don't like to be that guy. But he's a bully, and I don't like bullies. And I like to shut down bullies. And like, if I can shut down a bully at every pass, I will shut down the bully at every pass. I want them to feel less than for making other people feel less than. You know what I'm saying?
He reminds me of a Trailer Park Boys character. It's so hard to take him seriously when he tries to bully people.
Drug war, and we're gonna talk about the drug war.
Was that fucking like the wolf meme T-shirt that he always wears, dude? The fucking like airbrush Walmart T-shirts and shit like that. Like seriously, a fucking Trailer Park style, dude.
Hell yeah!
Like I'm from Alabama, I know what I'm talking about, and I have a pass to say Trailer Park style. Don't worry.
Trailer Park style. Well, I spent the great. I'm originally from San Diego, California, but I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. In a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. I already got doxxed earlier tonight, so don't look through my chat history because you'll find out where I am from in Arizona. Kidding. I don't care. I'm originally from Chandler, Arizona. Chandler, Arizona seems like would be a nice, normal suburb that didn't have any problems. But the thing is we had a lot of immigrant population. We had a lot of people that came there. They didn't have a lot of money because it was kind of on the outskirts of town. And these people were in dire situations, you know. And so, as always develops, when there's dire situations, there's dire crime, you know. And honestly, I'm not going to attribute it to the immigrants. It wasn't them, you know. It was really the people adjacent to them, the lower class white people that were living in the vicinity of them. Typically speaking.
By the way, Jason, sorry, I interrupt you. I searched for your name on Google because I was wondering if you had any YouTube channel or something. And when I searched Jason Society, well, there's a lot of things that came up I never heard of before. Like, there's this kind of cult or intellectual movement that, you know, can you explain me what's all that? Do you name yourself after that, or what was coincidental that your name is actually?
I appreciate you asking that. You know what? You're the first person to ask that, and I was waiting for that question. I've been waiting for that question for a long time. I've been waiting for that question since I actually got onto Twitch. Okay, so the Jason Society originally started as the Jason Scholars. They were an organization that was set up by the U.S. government and by private industry in order to understand the alien question and to thwart anybody trying to ask questions about whether or not aliens existed. From my understanding, on the very basic level. Okay, and so this is a basic level. There was other involvement that they did. Okay, so when my band started out, we wanted to. The alien question was something that was very much of interest to us. And then shortly after 9/11 happened. And for a long time, I was a 9/11 truther. You know, 9/11 was an inside job. Our government had a role in it. There was gold missing from our New York Treasury office, like a mass amount of gold.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of questions going on that I didn't have answers to, and I was very young. And I was suspect, right? You know, so I actually appeared the guy that coined the phrase, as far as I knew it, was a guy named William Cooper, and he's from Northern Arizona. And me and my band appeared on his show, The Hour of the Time. We actually even made a song for him after he was murdered by federal agents for so-called tax abuses.
So he was killed because of tax fraud or something?
Right. There's a lot that goes into that, and I would recommend reading up on it. It's a really interesting story. We would be here all night. I could tell you the story, but we would be here literally all night. But essentially, what happened is they said that he misrepresented how much money he made to people who were extending him credit, and that he misrepresented how much money he made to the IRS. They sent federal agents and the local sheriffs to his trailer that he lived. He lived in a trailer with his wife and a small child. They riddled the trailer with over 300 pieces of munition, bullets, whatever you want to call it. He stepped out on the front porch. The guy had one leg. You know, he actually had one leg. He steps out on the front porch, and they just 23 bullets through him and eviscerated him.
Damn.
He predicted 9/11 right before it happened, and there's video of it. You can look up on YouTube about the shit. He predicted 9/11 right before it happened. Like within 6 months of when it happened, he said exactly what was going to happen, why it was going to happen. He said we are antagonizing the threat. Like, he laid it all out it's very clear and concise. And there's a guy that's actually verifying that shit on his broadcast live. That looks delicious.
My boyfriend made it for me.
Oh damn.
That's a first class breakfast
Yeah.
or lunch.
Yeah, and it's more like a brunch. Yeah.
But that's
Wow,
that's
but I
what
never
that's
heard
all
those
about.
stories before.
Yeah. So, and the reason that I kept the name is because now I'm on the other side of a lot of this, and I've delved into a lot of conspiracy theories. Some I think are very interesting, and have the possibility of being legitimate. There's a lot that I think are bullshit, though, and like disputing those and disputing things like the COVID vaccine type of rhetoric and stuff like that, disputing those kind of misinformations and those conspiracy theories. It's a big part of what I want to do, because people are dying because of stupid, bad information, because they just cognitive dissonance. They want to believe a story. It's easier to believe a story than the truth. And it's like, I want to dispute all that shit. And I want people to realize, like, hey, that's bullshit. Like, let's talk about what's really going on, And so I reappropriated the name Jason Society and said, I was already doing that with a band, where we were talking about conspiracy theories and such. And I was heavily invested in it at one time. I believed some of it. But as I got older and I dug deeper in, what I really found most of the time, hey, Night Out Ben, thanks for hanging out. Accidentally clicked on my VC while scrolling over the Discord. My bad. No, you can hop in if you want. I guess kind of what happened was I realized that everything was spinning in circles, right? Like you never found there was never a solid proof of anything, right? It was always kind of like, oh, well, we have this circumstantial evidence, something that might have happened, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm done with it. Prove it to me, because you're asking me to prove that it didn't happen, but you can't prove to me that it did happen,
I mean, the great thing about all that is that you are dismantling all that misinformation coming from it. So it's not like you're making fun of them, which is what most people do when they're trying to, put light into that kind of discourse of this misinformation. They usually picture these people as stupid and they make fun of them. When they, in reality, they are really vulnerable people. They just want to believe what's easier for them. So if you make fun of them, you're just reinforcing their impulse to believe what they want to believe.
Right, which is that the elite hates essentially the elite hates them, the intellectual elite hate them, right? And they want to disadvantage them, and that's not the case. Like, I want to protect those people, and we want, collectively, I think most people, even if you want to call them the intellectual elite, which I think is a really vain term, but we could say that for this conversation, I want to protect people that are at disadvantage that way. I want to. I'm trying to give them more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? I think likewise with what you have told me about your positioning too, especially being a jurista.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. Like whenever I see people around me that believe crazy theories, I try to not judge, and especially hear their points without trying to feed them into more. Just try to ask them questions that would lead them with their own reasoning to a more how do you say that? Is it medium? Not medium, but moderate thought. I try to ask them to not be so extreme. Especially my parents with all these COVID thing at the beginning. WhatsApp groups here in Spain were crazy. They that you should whatever you should do, you shouldn't take paracetamol, which would increase the risk of you dying of COVID. They said that immigrants were the cause of COVID. Like many lies were spread through WhatsApp groups. It's not even Facebook anymore. It's just group chats that my parents were in with their friends that have similar way of thinking and similar political ideas. That because if someone that is sending you the message, and someone you trust, and someone that may have good business inquiries or good university degree, you feel like you're more inclined to believe it. And it's so hard to make these people leave this circle of disinformation, that you have to come to that with a lot of understanding, comprehension, and empathy. You cannot judge them and tell them you're stupid because of what you believe, but straight on.
That's I think you're 100% accurate on that, and that's the biggest flaw that people make is it's like an attack thing, right? And these people need you to understand like that you care about them, like your first instinct is not to hate them, but to care about them. You care about them. Like, we care about these people. Well, I wouldn't talk to people about this shit that I didn't care about. You know what I mean? I'd be like, whatever, homie, go do you.
Yeah, do you, boo, But
Right.
I don't know. Yesterday I was talking with my friends about whether freedom of expression is such a fundamental right? Because at the end of the day, if we were limited by someone else, like authority or the government, to say whatever we want in the political spectrum, if we hindered that freedom, there was a lot of problems that would be solved, right? Because we wouldn't have extremists being able to have a platform so easily. But at the same time, it's just, freedom of expression is one of the fundamental tools of democracy. So how are you gonna, it's really hard to navigate the empowerment that right gives to anyone who has a thought. That regardless of that thought being, productive or not. I don't know if I'm getting my point across, but
No,
No,
I get it.
You're good.
That was
So,
in
the
Prime's
thing is that-
thing today too. Whether or not
Yeah.
people should ban
Sometimes I think that
Nazis, for instance.
ban Nazis.
I don't know. I'm still in
or
favor of
people who
punching Nazis.
spread
I'm
out
sorry.
lies,
Right.
You can hate me, but I'm still in favor of punching Nazis. Like, I just think, like,
Nah, I don't
Yeah,
think that's
any-
a hated position.
anybody that wants to totally eviscerate another population based off of their race or their religion should I don't know, they should get punched in the face at the very least.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not going to kill them. It's not going to kill them. It's just a sock in the face,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But,
I'm
there's
generally
lot
a
of
pacifist
other
too.
genocides that-
What did you say?
The thing is that I feel like the coming from Europe, right? It's like and the Western world has criminalized a lot Nazis and their genocide, right? But taking a bigger look at history, especially in Europe and other continents like Africa or in India or in Russia, there have been other genocides that were quite as big as the Nazis.
Oh yeah.
The biggest genocide.
I'm saying that what the Nazis,
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying that I was not so informed and educated as I was about the whole Holocaust, which I think it was horrible, of course. But I get the feeling that because the Hollywood is full of people that suffer that pain from the Holocaust and what the Nazis did, they are like monopolizing the discourse in that sense. And I was reading the other day about Sierra Leona and the whole mass killing of people of one ethnic, and then you look at India and the Muslim genocide that is occurring also in the Middle East, and I cannot I think, wow, what if all these situations got at the same amount of attention that the Nazis get? You know, would I don't know if you get what I mean.
I do. I get what you're saying, because like the Modi government is very similar to an ethnogenesis government. Right, like
Yeah.
I mean, I see that with them. We had somebody posing as a progressive, this woman named Tulsi Gabbard, that was trying to play the progressive here, right? And she is a Modi fanatic, and I'm like, no, that's I see exactly what's happening there. That's ethno-nationalism that's occurring.
Yeah.
What happened in Kashmir with cutting off the power and the internet and their access to being able to communicate with one another? It's an ethno crisis. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to eviscerate a certain group of people. You know, they're trying to push them out. They're trying to other them and trying to demean them. And you know what? The U.S. is going to continue to give money to India. Why? Why?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when the U.S. had a lot of motives in order to participate in the Second World War, because especially all the Jews that were pursued by the regime flew there, they were mostly in control of like the economic system in the United States. So it was, you know, the new world order was at stake, and they had a lot of, you know, interest in playing a role in that Second World War. But whenever there is not an economic interest or motive, these high horse that they are like, you know, on them, it's, I don't know if you know what I mean. Like,
Oh yeah.
I see all these Hollywood movies about the how the U.S. was so good for intervening in the Second World War and the role they played.
The Second World War was won by the USSR. It was won by the Soviet Union. No question. We did our part on the Western Front. We were a very small piece of that war.
You could say World War II is won by Turkey's neutrality, or you could say World War II is won by fucking Hitler's incompetence and Operation Barbarossa. You could say all kinds of shit. I think the issue lies in Hollywood, but I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to what you said. Who you said like, originally it was the opposite. It was Jews weren't allowed to make Hollywood films about the Holocaust and shit like that, and generally weren't allowed to have decent budgets in their productions and shit like that. And it wasn't until what was that fucking movie, the funny movie where dude played the dictator? It was The Dictator, right?
Charles Chaplin.
BT Dub, Yurista, I'm posting my YouTube channel in the chat for you if you want to connect to it. Because you're asking about it. I thought you were already subscribed, though. I thought you already subscribed a long time ago.
But that was initially when I looked for you the first time and I forgot to ask you about like the name, because I saw it and I was like, wow, what is all of this? And then when I saw you after searching for your name, I was like, I had to ask him what does Jason Society really mean.
Yeah, no, and to boot, I want to tell you something else. My dad was a Freemason, so I play off that quite a bit. Like, I think it's kind of funny. I still have his apron. Like, I have all the like Freemasonry, like emblems and stuff. I actually, I was a Demolay, which is like a child that goes into Freemasonry. But I couldn't sit through like all the recitation and shit, and I was like, no, I'm not good with this. I got a sword, so I'm happy. Because they give you a sword, you know, they give you a sword, and I'm like, I'm good. I got a sword. Like, can I go home? And I went home and smoked weed.
I found a CIA Special Activities Division challenge coin, and it got me out of a traffic stop one time, and then I lost it.
Oh, if you have the
can I ask you for help for a second? Because I'm
sure.
streaming at the same time, right? My friend Raquel is on the chat, and she said that she can hear me, but she cannot hear you guys. So I don't know how to fix that. I'm sharing my screen with the Discord call.
It would be in it would be in your audio. So there should be like little bars with like your voice making the bars go up and down, right? There should be one
in the
for, like,
Discord chat or in the OBS.
in OBS. Yeah.
Turn up your turn up your desktop audio.
Yeah, and if it's up and everything like that,
And then make sure that you don't have your monitor turned on, because you'll get an echo in your headset or in your earphones. So turn off the monitor and your earphones, and then turn up the desktop audio for them.
And make sure the right device is selected in the desktop audio.
Well, okay. So captura salida de audio. Let me check. Thank you so much. I'm so bad at like this,
You're good.
hard work.
Mike Lightyear taught me everything I know. I just learned this 7 weeks ago. It's so please. I'm with you, Maria. I'm very much with you. It's so new to me.
Okay, I'm gonna ask my boyfriend. He's here. Samu. Did I move you? I'm gonna move myself for a second. Que no se aparezca.
That's okay.
Me escuchen, ¿sabes? Escuchen a ellos. ¿Sabes? En plan, me está diciendo rápido.
This song is a jam, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna turn the song up a little bit. You guys heard this song before?
Oh yeah.
Come on.
El audio de escritorio no dice. Pero ¿cómo lo pongo? Un momento, voy a parar el vídeo, chicos, que Samu no quiere salir. Vale. Ay, mierda.
All night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. All night to run. I'm up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to go. We're up all night to get We're up all night to get lucky. Up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky. Man, I don't know how people can't love that song. That song is great.
It is.
I mean, I've seen them live, dude. That was one of the baddest ass shows I've ever seen. Seeing Daft Punk at Coachella. Whoo! That shit was lit. Not gonna lie, I was tripping nuts. I was tripping nuts.
Yeah, honestly, it's stuff like this is better when you like crank it or when you have a nice system.
My headphones are great. They're pumping the bass so good right now. That's the That's probably why I'm like, yeah. No, because there definitely is another dimension when you interact with that bass.
I can hear you now.
Hey.
Is okay, I'm gonna regular, pero se les escucha. Okay, they can hear you now. That's fine. You have Spanish viewers now. Say hi to them.
Hola.
Hola.
So what we were talking before my incident, I don't know.
What were we
I don't
talking
remember
about?
either.
Well, no, Mike, you were saying something interesting about the youth not being able to do movies until this guy, Charles Chaplin, did the dictator one.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
what do you call it? Yeah. Jewish productions didn't really like they weren't really allowed. What the Motion Picture Association was really.
Oh shit. Red's in the room.
It kind of wasn't. It kind of wasn't expected to really take off and everything like that because it didn't even really get that huge of a budget either. But for the time, but ended up taking off.
Yeah.
So
What up?
what up?
Yeah, but then there was like it turned into a thing in which there's only a tunnel vision for that struggle from the youth. There was no other genocide spoke about. Actually, whenever you see a movie about the Spanish colonization, it's always romanticized and done like Pocahontas or something like that. You never really see the struggle of native people being invaded, even though it was like hundreds of years ago. It's always romanticized. You don't see the struggle of other tribes being as documented and specified. I don't know if you get what I mean.
I do totally.
I think they glorified the genocide of Native Americans in the United States, and if you look at any documentarian or any biographical film about important people in the history of America during that time, during the colonial time, they always downplay their role in genociding Native Americans, and they literally genocided. There were more Native Americans genocided than were Jewish people in Germany. And I'm not saying
That's
that
true.
as a slight to Germany. I appreciate that. I appreciate their struggle that they went through. But what I'm saying are Jewish people in Germany. But what I'm saying is that people discount the native genocides that happened. They discount the native schools that people were put into. They discount a lot of things that really happened to these people. That they're just like, oh, well, we were just trying to make them understand normal Western culture. And it's like, no, they had a culture that was rich. They had a good culture. You stole that culture from them. You stole their land from them, and you stole that culture from them.
That's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant. When I'm talking especially about mainstream media, right? You
Right.
might see documentaries and you can see like independent work that talks about the struggle and the suffering of natives people. But when from an outside perspective, from someone that's not from the United States, and the only thing I get is mainstream movies and Hollywood things, I don't see that depiction of others tribes suffering as I see the Jews one. And I'm not taking any merit, or I'm not saying they shouldn't talk about it and they shouldn't make movies about it. But when we look about, like, when we take a look at things like the genocide currently occurring in India, you see that it's not as important as it is for other kind of genocides. I don't know. I'm saying all genocides are important.
On the world stage, there's neglect given to certain genocides over others. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would concur with
I
that
don't
statement.
think,
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's just with genocides either. I think it's like in general violence. Like it's just demographically when we're talking about the world, yeah, absolutely. Like usually,
Especially
we
the
talk about-
southern hemisphere. 100%.
Yeah. When we're talking about the world, yeah, people usually talk about genocide. That's usually the bar, unfortunately. But like domestically, like in general, yeah, usually it's the dominant classes of people that get attention. Usually.
But and I just think, like, okay, Nazis are a problem, right? They should be eradicated for any political discourse or anything like that. I don't agree with what they're saying, but really, it's not the main problem right now. Like, it's not the biggest threat to a democratic society to think about people who are a minority in modern society, in modern, Western societies. If we want to really be good and like not good, but if you really want to tackle the problem of eugenics politics, we'll have to look at all the discrimination, like systematic discrimination that is coming from, different governments in different parts of the world. Not something that happened almost 100 years ago, and it affects today's lives. Youths are being discriminated, especially in the Middle East. But I don't know if the owners of big tech and owners of Hollywood are going through the struggle that other ethnicities and other parts of the world are going right now, and we are ignoring and we feel so good and like in a high horse of moral values because we are tackling Nazis from the bottom, from the even.
I think
There's a lot of other opposing forces besides Nazis that want to prevent freedom and justice, And I agree with you. Like, I think honestly, they are very, very fringe, and there are people that are closer in that we need to be more concerned about 100%, because they're soft pedaling the same message. They're just doing it. They're just slow playing the result,
I think also
always lower your gravity. Always lower your gravity and aim with your shoulder when tackling Nazis. I mean, just anyone that's just good tackling form, but just when tackling Nazis, just don't.
I think generally people in the United States for sure paraphrase Nazis for fascists.
Yeah. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of a big deal, kind of everywhere right now. Fascism, Ukraine, India, Spain, here, fucking.
And we can't deny that it's usually ethno-nationalism. It is ethno-nationalism.
Yeah,
let's be honest about it. So
Japan, that's good. That's becoming a thing again in Japan. Not as much as it was, but it's becoming a thing again.
But the comparison, I mean, you got to understand it on that level is that, they're not Nazis per se, but ethno-nationalism is just as damaging,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that, but
that's part of how fascism just hides in plain sight. Like when people just go, oh, they're like Nazis. Fascists can say we're not Nazis, and they're not wrong.
Oh yeah, Nazis are gone. They're gone for 70 years. That's preposterous.
Yeah, so that's how they hide in plain sight by because fascism is literally snapshots in time of different movements in different countries at different times. So if you're literally just calling them, every fascist is a Nazi, then it belittles the argument and it gives them ammunition to. What is that sound? My goodness.
It's a train.
I live in front of a church.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a church.
Yeah, that's like every single 15 minutes from 11, I get this, and like at 12, half past 12, quarter to 1, I get the ting, ting, ting.
Is the church made made of adorable little it's like 10 feet tall, made of hands? That's what it sounds like.
No, it's. I mean, it's actually a really beautiful church. But the city where I'm from, every single 2 streets you get a church. And they were actually built on former mezquitas and mosques. Because, but that's the thing in Spain. All the churches you've seen are created with a rest of other mosques, other cultures, because the Christians took over any other, civilization that stood here. So it's funny because you see all these churches in the middle of a city. We have even more than 10 churches, and it's crazy. Only in the old town, let's say, like the old town of the city. And all of them are oriented to the Mecca because they were built on mosque. So they're actually architecturally they're really beautiful. But that's That's the thing.
I'm 1,000% gonna. I planned on traveling to Spain for a long time, just because you know history and yeah, dude. Like, was like 4/5 of the Iberian Peninsula was the Maya Empire in the Middle Ages, and
Yeah.
and like, god damn, there's like a ton of stuff going on there, dude. For
Yeah.
thousands of years, dude. And then
I mean-
China too. China, I want to go to China.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my neighborhood, every time they want to build a new building, they have to ask the Commission for Archaeological, how do you say that? Well, they have to test whether you're building on something that has some sense of history, and
Right.
if they found something that it's of value, you cannot build. So there's like recently there's been like a lot of constructions that have to be paralyzed because they found, I don't know, some baths from the Roman Empire or some ark or part of the fence built by the Muslims where they were here, and especially the southeast of Spain is like a region that was the middle between the Catholic Empire and the Muslims during, and it was like a territory in which there was a lot of mix of cultures. There was Jews, there was Muslims, there were Christians. It's really cool. You see a lot of influences, difference of arts of culture in every single church you step in my city. It's really cool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm. But if you have to travel somewhere in Spain, I'd say you go to Granada or to Cordoba.
Okay.
Those cities are amazing. Granada has a palace built by the Califato of, like, it was this big Khalifa from the north of Africa that built this castle with this big long fence in the overview of the city, and the influences there from the Muslims are amazing. It's just so beautiful.
Fuck yeah, dude. No, but like Baghdad is a beautiful city. Like the mosques were preserved throughout the first and second Iraq War. They've got a giant mosque there that's been a holy site for ages, for like since the Middle Ages. So kind of the same thing. Like they got a lot of old ass mosques out there, dude.
Yeah, for me it's quite strange in America. Like, you guys don't really have history. I'm sorry, but
No,
it's just
dude.
like.
It's crazy, dude. All our towns all look the same. They all look like they just came out of a container box.
Well, hold on. There's
It's all, like,
history.
everything looks like
Let me
you
explain.
bought it on a shelf. Like people's whole ass businesses and houses and lives and shit.
There's history, but let me explain how that works, though. Right? We are a massive country. We're massive. Like we are the largest landmass country in the world. I mean, maybe next to China, I think, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Russia is quite big too. But
and so there is history, but there's a lot of indigenous history. There's a lot of history native to the places where those states are. So you can't look at American history. You have to look at the history of the state that you're in. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're in Europe, you're going to look at the history of the country that you're in Europe, right? Like each state is almost equivalent to the size of many countries in Europe, you know? So when you look at the history, you have to look at the history per state. And there are some that really don't have much history at all. You're right. Yeah, totally accurate. But there are some that have very robust histories, you know?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oftentimes histories that aren't indicative of the American ideologies and are more in line with, the native ideologies. For sure.
Generally talking about architecture, though, like, holy shit, it's just like a stark difference between pretty much anywhere in the United States.
Oh no, it's cookie cutter here. Cookie cutter, absolutely. It's boring. It's one of the most boring architectural countries to live in now. It's
Even our
ridiculous.
big buildings are like brutalist. It's like some most boring shit.
I don't know. the thing is that if you look at Mediterranean countries like Greece, Italy, north of Africa, like Morocco, Spain, Portugal, it used to be the center of the world in the Middle Ages. So it was just this, so all of these cultures together mixed. You know, I, I, I don't know. I love the Mediterranean culture. It's just it's just a way, like,
Yeah.
we all have a lot of similarities in the way we eat. We all cook with olive oil, so it's like I don't
It's a
know,
beautiful
I-
culture. There's no question about it. Absolutely beautiful culture. I have mad appreciation for that culture. So,
The thing is,
and you guys have
for
great ham.
Grey ham.
Great ham. Jambon.
Yeah, we have jamón serrano. You mean?
Yes. Some of the best in the world. The best in the world, though. You know, like truly.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean, when I moved to the Netherlands for a year, it's so shocking to me the way that the gastronomic culture is so different, right? I could eat out of my house every day, really cheap because my city is super cheap. I could get like one beer for 2 beers for €1, and
Right.
some places have like for €2 you can get a beer and a small plate of food, which is called tapas, right? And I think people outside Spain don't get what tapas really are because they feel like it's gonna be a main course, which is not. It's just something you eat while you wait for the main course, and it's something small and
Like a snack.
maybe-
Yeah, you know, like a snack.
yeah. So whenever I went out, like in the Netherlands to a Spanish restaurant, the people they would order like tapas as main course, and I'm like, no, that's not the way it works. You know, whenever a Spaniard gets to with their friends, no one eats on time. Like there's someone that's late. So tapas is something you eat while you wait that everyone gets in the table. You know, you start a conversation with a beer. So you know, you slowly start ordering, and there's more food and more food and more food, and suddenly the main, course arrives. It's just, it's just something you don't get to see. You don't really eat
Yeah.
that in situation. I guess.
That's very similar to American culture. Americans, I'm gonna be candid, are a little bit gluttonous. They're very gluttonous. So it'll be like, give me five trays of tapas.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just a small thing, and it's cool because each region of Spain has its own specialty, right?
Right.
For tapas, and for example, where I'm from, we have something called marinera, which is like a piece, like a bread that is shaped like this, like a cracker that is shaped like this, and then you put some potato salad with tuna and an anchovy on top.
Okay.
So if you move like 50 kilometers, you find that they have another different tapa with pork, maybe some beans, maybe tortilla. You know, it's just, and tortilla is not the same as tortilla for Latin Americans.
Yeah, I understood that. You know, it's funny. And I was very naive. I was very young, right? And I wanted to take a date to a really nice Mexican restaurant, and I took her on a date to a really nice Spanish restaurant, and I was like, I don't know anything on the menu. Like, just try something, and everything was good though. Everything was good. Oh, it was wonderful. It was some of the best food I've ever had.
Did it work out for you?
It worked out. It worked out brilliantly. She was actually a big fan, and so was I. And we repeated going there. Like, we made it like a weekly thing. Like, that Spanish restaurant was like one of our
we're gonna
favorite
restart.
places. All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
Oh, see, but also, it's Mark gone. He's gone.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
You just had to reset.
Sorry, I was saying that. For example, I was wondering how often do you guys eat like chickpeas or lentils in your diet?
Never.
lentils I used to eat really regularly. Not as much anymore. That used to be a main part of my diet. I like hummus a lot, so you know, there's
It's just,
that
it's
aspect,
just
but
that, for example, for the Mediterranean diet, like those kind of foods, whole foods are are the main ingredient. Like my grandma, all recipes all include like chickpeas, beans, lentils, uh, um, also like green beans. It's just like really healthy because it's cooked with olive oil, vegetables, and then you put the carbs that you would get in that food that come from the legumes. Like I don't know the name in English. Is it legumes? I don't
yeah,
know.
legumes, beans, nuts. Yeah, absolutely, same.
So whenever I go out of Spain, I see the food that it's structured because I'm diabetic, so I had to pay a lot of attention to the carbs that I take because I have to administrate insulin, right? So
Sure.
whenever I go outside, it's super hard for me to control my glucose because everything has added carbs, added sugars, and it's just overall super unhealthy.
Right.
And used to be, you know, I couldn't understand how people wouldn't use olive oil to put on their toast. Like I never use any spread like peanut butter or chocolate or anything like that. I always use some salt, olive oil, maybe some ham. It's just different. I don't know.
Well, like for me, for instance, I'm on a keto diet. I used to weigh about 280 pounds. I was big.
Wow.
Yeah, I weigh I weigh like 195 right now, and yeah. But I did a keto diet. I did this thing called the bulletproof diet. And I drank this coffee in the morning that had a bunch of butter, grass-fed, unsalted butter in it, and MCT
I know what you're
oil.
talking about.
And I drank that shit. I drank 2 cups a day. And then I ate a ton of leafy green vegetables, like a ass ton of leafy green vegetables. Like most of my day was leafy green vegetables, and then like some really, really good high-end protein. Like I'd pay
Okay. Listen, tell me like a normal day on an average American person, like breakfast, snack, lunch, dinner. Like
an average American person compared to me.
or yours would be yours. Like I'm just saying average because but yours. You're like, put me an example. What would you eat along the day?
I drink 2 cups of fatty coffee in the morning. I don't eat until probably around after 2 p.m. And then when I do eat, I'll have a seared romaine with maybe some like bacon bits in it and some garlic and onions. And that's my yum. I love that. That's like one of my favorite meals. And then for dinner, I'll have okay, so one of them would be like
Sorry guys, there it goes again. It's 1:00.
Mute your microphone.
I will. Sorry.
This is Prime. Mute your mic. Just kidding. Just kidding.
There's a cartoon mouse banging on a pan just outside her window. What the sound?
No, and then like for dinner we would do something like either like because I'm very specific about the food I eat, so it's either like grass-fed beef, pastured pork, or salmon, and I usually cook those on the grill, and I slow cook them, and it takes me quite a while, like about an hour or so. But I start them because I work from home. I just start them early in the day, and I just sit on it and let it cook, and then when it's done, it's done. And we have these really good sautéed vegetables and like slow cooked meat, and that's what we eat, but I don't eat a lot. I don't eat a lot in the middle of the day. Like it's coffee early on, a little bit of something really light in the middle, and then like if I eat protein, like animal protein, it happens usually in the evening.
Okay. That's cool. What about you, Redolent? What's your normal food day?
I don't eat breakfast. I don't like breakfast. I never have liked breakfast. I think breakfast is stupid and it slows you down.
No!
breakfast is a waste of time. It's garbage. It's trash, and that's my experience. So how dare you contradict what my life?
By the way, I do eat breakfast for dinner sometimes because I still like eggs and bacon.
There's a bunch of articles on how he's right. I'm just kidding.
I've never liked it. My dad would force pancakes on us on Sundays growing up, and bacon, but I hate bacon. So every Sunday he would make me a plate of pancakes and bacon, and I'd be like, Dad, I don't like bacon. And he would look at me like this confused look on his face, like, what? Since when? And I'm like, Dad, always. And he's like, no, you like bacon. I'm like, no, that's everybody else in this house. My two brothers love bacon. I hate bacon. And he's just like,
That's because he was cooking it wrong.
bacon sucks. I've had bacon from the best chefs in the world, and bacon still fucking blows.
Bacon is,
which is weird.
Pretty cheap meat. It's just really salty. That's what makes it good.
Do you like pork belly at all?
I like every other part of the pig done every other way. I was about to say, I basically eat charcuterie every day.
So you like pork belly? Yeah, of course you do.
No, I don't like American-style, dumbass, stupid, fucking garbage bacon.
No,
Bacon on burgers, bacon on bullshit, bacon.
I don't eat bacon, but I like it.
Back in the 80s and 90s, bacon wasn't a thing that we threw on every fucking sandwich and every, like, bacon pizza, bacon.
Correct.
Everything. And now, with this drive of, hey, everyone's really into bacon, and then you have a little kid eating bacon for the first time that goes viral, and everyone's like, oh, bacon, bacon, oh. And then, fast forward to 15 years later when we're wondering why, bacon, like pig farms are like those mass market ones are like just like destroying areas, giving cancer to people, spraying their shit up in the air and, putting the shit downstream and just ruining lives.
Just gonna say, when I was a kid, there was a place called JB's Restaurant that had a buffet, and it was all you can eat bacon. And I used to just get plates of bacon because bacon was delicious when I was like 9.
Tell me nothing. I'm so sorry.
Bacon bits, the worst possible thing to put on a fucking salad. Ugh.
But once I had bacon in Ireland, I was like, yeah. American bacon sucks because bacon in Ireland is thick. It's really thick. It's
in Spain
and
too. We call it
it's wide.
It's like this thick. Sorry, this thick, and then you put it on the grill. Not in the pan. You do it like barbecue.
It's so good, amazing. That's wonderful. But I'll after that, like American bacon did pretty well suck to me.
but back to me and my important daily routine eating food. Also, I don't know. I can pig out and not really gain a lot of weight, but when I actually try to like focus on like eating regularly, something simple for lunch. I don't know. Whatever we've got in the fridge with the kids, like I'll cook up some salmon for me and my oldest one. She's big on salmon.
I love salmon.
And
Noms.
Most people love salmon, but like it's also like a great first guy. Any guys
First
out there
fish for
listening,
kids. It's the best.
The first date you cook
That's
for your date.
Oh.
Your house and you cook for them.
Hold on.
Asparagus and salmon, like that's it.
Red, time out. What the hell weed was that, Mark?
Romulan.
That looked beautiful. That was disgustingly beautiful.
It's better than a good camera. It's from Flower Co., which delivers everywhere on the Northern California coast, from Humboldt County to Los Angeles, except not Fresno or what do you call that? Bakersfield. So
yeah, nobody delivers to Bakersfield. Fuck Bakersfield.
Well, so go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it is though. I'm fucking poor, dude. I drink coffee and eat ramen and smoke weed for now, and I'm a chef. It's sad. I don't even have a kitchen. It's super annoying.
Great health advice from the guy from the weed from how is it, Fresno?
Huh?
Where was the weed from?
That's from I don't know exactly where it's from. I guess Nah, it's really bad. So I don't know where it's from.
What's this?
Probably
I
somewhere
heard,
up there.
thing where, like,
I heard
where's the
Spanish
thing
people
where
have the
people,
best
like, socially
hashish in the
have to
world.
know, like,
She's like, yeah. Yeah. She's like, yeah, we have the best
Louis-
hashish in the world.
No, they just get it from Morocco. That's the thing, is they get it from Morocco. The brick hash is the best hash in the world, dude. That shit retains all the terpenes. That's why that shit is fucking gold, dude. It's because they literally just press it in bricks. They don't do any other kind of adulteration to it, like with beauty or anything like that.
Like straight rosin.
Yeah, exactly. The original fucking press hash. Like, you know how people are pressing shit and hydraulic presses and shit now? Literally, Moroccan brick hash has been Moroccan brick hash for like.
Especially, I mean, the tip, like,
Thing down like an ass, and then
it'll
drive everything like it sends a message out to everybody who is subscribed via Twitch. They get that stupid notice, and they're like, "Why is this asshole like ringing me at 4:00 in the fucking morning?"
Oh no,
Yeah,
dude.
what?
People don't it's like, fuck. If you have a smartphone and you keep your notifications on for when you're sleeping, like, I'm sorry, you just need to learn how to use your smartphone.
that's true. That's actually true.
I do it because of the business that I'm in, because of the industry I work in. Like, I have to.
Yeah, but like, you can turn off notifications for Twitch pretty easily. Like, and
Well-
you can keep notifications on for other stuff.
Yeah, I could.
are you-
Yeah, I could, but screw that. Because it's more fun to torture myself, right? You know.
Sorry?
I said screw that because it's more fun to torture myself, right?
Ah, okay. But what
I'm just
where do
kidding.
you work? What is your work?
Oh, you don't want to know. I am in. I am
Oh
in.
boy.
I am in information technology, and I do systems administration for a major, the biggest, probably one of the biggest and oldest health insurance companies in the United States. Which is exactly why I'm pro M4A. It's the exact reason why I'm in favor of Medicare for all in the United States.
Oh, I see. What about you, Mark? What is your work?
Streaming. I'm a chef, but I mean, chef is kind of like falling off and shit like that. I don't know. I'm trying to get VA disability, dude. Like, my body's fucked up lately. I'm kind of in the poorhouse. Life's not good for me, but I mean, I'm cool though.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna build each other up, though, Mark. We're gonna create a community. We're gonna create panels, and we're gonna move this shit. And I want to make sure that Maria and Mark and E and me
Hello.
and Captain A, whenever he decides to come around, if and when, you know.
Oh, it's all good, dude.
We're gonna build. We're gonna collectively build a badass unit, and I'm gonna make sure all you guys get to somewhere, and you get to do what you want to do instead of some bullshit, right?
No, I'm generally good. Like, if I needed to go make some money or whatever, you know, I got some people up in northern, generally in eastern central California. I can go work on their farm and shit like that.
I know some cats like that too.
Yeah, but you know, like, I'm trying to do streaming and stuff like that, and branch out on a video game streaming, and still do politics streaming. That's how I got started, was politics streaming, but it gets tiring.
But let's do politics streaming, and I think Red's got the right idea. Like, let's do politics streaming, but let's make it fun, and let's like have like-minded people on panels to talk about the current events instead of having people that are like horribly, you know, like averse opinionated. You know, like we can have a range of you know views, of course, but like. I think like some of the panels we see on Twitch are so extreme. Like there's no way to have a normal conversation. Like
a William Buckley conservative versus a fucking like CTV scheme.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the levity that Red brings when he does like redolent squares, and we can laugh at the whole situation, you know, a little bit. We can laugh at ourselves a little bit, and you know, like, you know, I think that makes the political discourse better, and we realize that we're more alike than we are different. You know what I mean? And and our common struggles are very similar. You know. And we can find solutions that appease a lot of people without having to appease fucking fascists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it supposed to be up?
It's up. Nobody's on it. Nobody's watching it. I don't care
I
though.
don't see it as up. Oh, now it is. Yeah.
What's up, Doobie? What the hell's Doobie doing in here? Are you bored?
Doobie's here? No, dude. What's up, Doobie?
4 a.m. and I'm just in my bed.
Speaking of different views, we now have different views. You'll now get more views based on the law of averages.
I gotta warn you, I've had like a beer, so I'm kind of drunk. Like a beer and 1/4.
You had a beer, and it's like probably 7 in the morning where you're at, right?
It's 4. I'm in California. It's 4 a.m.
Oh, you're in Cali?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Southern California.
Shit, I thought everybody
Happy
on Prime
420,
was on
dude.
the East Coast somewhere, like in Pennsylvania or some shit.
It's fucking 420, you guys.
Grew up at East LA. Grew up in East LA.
Oh,
Right,
hell
let's get
yeah,
right.
brother.
Oh man,
So
we're
what do you guys
literally. I'm fucking with Valheim. We're literally just saying, you know, like making politics fun again. That's generally what we're talking about.
were politics ever fun? I mean,
Ah, well, you know, like it's not as fucking goddamn, dude. Just want to talk about
Like
shit
throat
again,
grabbing
dude.
shit. Like
able to-
why
be
do
able
we
to
gotta
talk
rip
it.
each other's throats out over like political differences? Why can't
mean,
we
it's-
have
it's
basic
kind-
level
yeah.
conversation
It's
without?
kind of inevitable when it's like a brawl of ideologies, you know. But
Well, I
like,
mean, when you're talking about severe human rights issues, I think where people are severely impacted by those, of course, there's going to be that kind of visceral reaction to things, right? But I think, generally speaking, when you're talking about, okay, so I mean, I can't put it into perspective of geopolitical situations, but as far as like national politics in the U.S., for example.
yeah.
Like I don't hate my political opposition. I really don't hate them. I don't wish them ill will. Like what I really want is to make them understand my perspective and to see where I'm at and hopefully have some empathy and share some empathy with my
Yeah.
position so that we can find some common ground so that we can work towards the betterment of the country that we have, of what we're left with, or however you want to decipher that. Like, you know, the place that we're in, let's just make it better. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Hey.
it's reasonable for people to get upset or passionate when they're talking about this kind of stuff. Is that Mark
Yeah.
Campbell's?
No, it is. What's up, dude? Yeah, I've been breaking into I've been breaking into video game streaming. What's up, dude?
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to branch out and not be in one category and have headaches.
Hey, so was that you on that video, Doobie, that I sent you?
You sent me, well, look at the DM, okay? Just look at our DM, you'll see this in the response. Very nice to meet you, Charista. I'm not gonna say an accent. I'm American.
Corista. Yeah, I'm
gonna
gonna
do it.
change.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was you. I knew it was you.
Of
You.
course, you can look at
So what's your name? Sorry,
Doobie.
Doobie. Okay, I think
Well,
I saw
my
you.
real name is Abraham, but most people call me.
Abraham.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful name.
I thought you're the only one that thinks okay. It's like an old person name. Most people just call me Abe.
Abe. I don't know what in Spanish it will be Abraham, which is
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
biblical name. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, Ashbury Heights is dope though. I like those guys. That's a good band. Ashbury Heights.
Music. I feel like you listen to bad music. To be honest.
Damn.
I literally listen to everything, dude. I listen
Mans
to every
listens
style
to
of music.
everything He does, dude.
I listen to Miles Davis. I listen to Otis Redding. I listen to like
He said
Code
some George
Orange. I
Clinton on
listen
here
to
earlier, dude.
George Clinton. I listen to everything.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know most of us, so they must be pretty bad to be honest.
He was playing my SoundCloud trap beats and shit, dude. He was playing everything. Yeah, dude, it's great.
My
I just
Life
like
with the
music
Thrill
that I can
Coco.
sing, but I'm really bad at singing, so it doesn't work out.
I was a singer, man. A horrible
Yeah, I can
one.
tell.
A horrible
you,
one.
You seem like you're in a band. If that makes any sense. I used to go around singing too. My I had the same girlfriend from like 12 to 24, and we used to perform at coffee shops and shit, like for like years. She was trying to make new music, and I was like along for the ride, I guess. Very, very, very cringe. You know, it's interesting.
Just playing music, being cringe.
Basically, yeah.
Hey, I mean, if it worked for you at the time, did you get? I mean, did they throw coins at you or anything, or did they help you out?
Yeah, no, she you know, she did pretty well. I don't know. We broke when I was 24, so I'm 33 now. So it's been a while.
Okay, well, we were just saying that it's good to have different views, and Mark said that where you stand on. Do a little bit of introduction, because I've never met you before. It would be nice to hear.
I like good things and I don't like bad things. Okay. Praise God. So I guess we'll probably disagree about what the bad things are, what the good things are.
Do you think the Republican Party has a chance for 2024 in the United States?
Maybe. I don't think Kamala Harris is very popular, but I'm not a Republican. I don't like the Republican. I'm not a Democrat either. I'm much an independent. I guess I'm like a nationalist, a civic nationalist.
When you say nationalist, you mean you want your state to become its own country, or a nationalist in terms of United States as a whole?
United States as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, I guess.
There's some sketchy,
depends.
edgy parts. It's like monarchic nationalism.
I don't like monarchy. Why do you guys think I like monarchy?
Because you're a frog
Don't
with
say you
a frog
guys,
with
I
a
didn't
crown.
say
That's why.
I can be kind of like monarchy. I'm not a monarchist. Okay.
He could take off his frog crown.
I mean, you know, from a practical point of view, monarchy has its ups and downs. I'm not saying I'm pro-monarchy, but if you look at the cost of a president of a republic, it's almost at the same as the crown. And you have to waste all the money in the elections every 4 years. And then that president of the republic gets a permanent salary for the rest of his lives because he was the president of the republic. So, yeah, if you look at those terms, it's better to have a monarchy that has ties with a lot of houses from the Middle East, which we sell weapons and we get oil from. So,
Oh yeah, like the House of Saud.
yeah.
And the rest of the Gulf Cooperation Council nation states that have close ties with like cousins and their royal family and their royal families, like Jordan and Kuwait. And more recently Jordan. Jordan, not in history, but more recently Jordan.
It's so funny, Jason. Why are you laughing so much?
Just the music that's playing on my stream right now.
Yeah, I'm not a monarchist. Okay.
I never thought you were a monarchist. And
I just thought
didn't-
because of the
yelled
crown.
at
Like
each other
I
before.
always figured because of the crown that you're a monarchist.
Well, monarchy would work if I were king. If I were the king, okay. Other than that, like, I'm against monarchy.
I could be like king of a house, you know, or like a farm, you know, but that's about it. Like I can't. I don't want to be king of anything.
Jason thinks I'm magic because I don't like foreign. basically.
Mark, that's more like feudalism, right? You want to be a lord of a
A
feudal
lord.
Yeah. I'll be like a duke of my little, or a lord of my little farm, but that's about it. Or my stream, or my like Arma group, you know.
I legit think a presidency should be 6 years instead of 4, though.
6, yeah.
I think it should be 6 years and it should be 1 term. That's it. I that's what I think. I think it should be 6 years and 1 term, and you shouldn't be able to run for re-election.
I think I don't know if I agree with it, even there being like 2 terms. I think I'd be okay with more than 2 terms.
2 terms sucks. That's bullshit. 2 terms sucks. No, it's too long. Like
No, I think it's too short.
No. Because FDR, what was he? Was like 3 terms and shit. But most of the shit he got done in his first 1.5 terms. So if you gave him 6 years, that's 6 years to get shit done. GST, get your shit done. You got 6 years. Handle that business, and then peace out. You know.
Yeah, well, like, what's the benefit of like having it be 2 terms or even 6 years, right? If you were to go to your thing.
Well, it's,
The benefit is giving him enough time to get the work done. You know, because you're not getting it done for. There's no way, not with the stalwarts in Congress and shit like that. Not in the way that our current system works. You're not going to be able to fundamentally get it done. I don't know how that works in other countries, but in the United States, it absolutely would not work in the United States. I think 4 years is too short a time to fully realize whatever vision a president has. That's just my fact. I would have even given Trump an extra 2 years, and I know it sounds horrible, but either we would have given him enough rope to hang himself, or he would have fully realized his vision, and it would have been great. I don't think it would have been great. I think it would have been total freaking catastrophe. But I think 6 years is an appropriate time for a president to be able to get something done. Like, legitimately done.
But I think with the current system, we have presidents planning out like 10, 20 years in the future, right? When they are only going to be in office for like 8 years total. So it seems like if they're popular, and if you care about democracy, and you guys, I don't really care about democracy, but you guys seem to. So why not just allow these popular people that people want to democratically elect into office stay in office, so that they can have long-term goals and long-term visions.
Hey, but you know what, Doobie, can you just show the frog?
Oh my! I'm playing a video game right now.
Come on, can you just show the
I've had a
frog?
beer in 2 quarters at this point. Okay, I'm being a degenerate. I'm playing a video game.
I just want Maria to see the frog.
I had to hop in here for the first time because I totally disagree with this take. But what's up?
Yeah, what's up, dude?
9 out of 10. Hell yeah.
Actually,
Drop in, say your piece.
Ding, ding, ding.
I had to, man. I actually think the 6 years makes sense because I agree the political gridlock in Congress is kind of insane. But I do think they should get more than 1 term. And the reason why is because, one, you have to have some sort of incentive for them to seek re-election in order to, like, for them to continue doing what's in the best interest of the American people. I think the incentive to get re-elected is the entire, like, thing that would keep an otherwise terrible president accountable to the population.
But you can do a round of control. You know, you don't really need re-election.
I mean, if you had like a system that the people could decide, like a referendum, without it being an actual election, then perhaps. But I think the way the Constitution lays out how we remove a president from office without an election, it's kind
of mistrust of the president.
I agree with that.
And then if there's mistrust of the president, he's removed and elections are done. But there's another way of doing it. It's when the party of the same party of the one that's leading lose the trust in that candidate. So then they remove the leader of the party and they have to run internal elections, right? which the public is not able to vote. It's only the members of the party that vote.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that really democratic. But in the past, like 8 years, well, let's say 10 years, we had 2 mistrusts movements, and we were with a government that was in functions, that it was not properly a government elected by the public because as a result of the elections. And now is the current president, Pedro Sanchez, was first on power because the previous president was moved out by the majority of the Congress. So it really creates a sensation of political instability, and investors and any economic agents that want to play around in Spain are not secure because of the political instability that kind of resources provide. So I agree, it will be more democratic, but not necessarily better for your country. You know, if you understand what I mean, it's like.
So if you were trying to provide political stability while also ensuring democracy is like upheld, then reasonably speaking, we should say like 1 term, 8 years almost. I think 6 years, 1 term is too short for a single president that has the support of the American people behind them. I think if American
so you think give them 6 years and the opportunity to run for an additional 6 years? Do you think that could potentially be too long, or could you do like a term of 6 years and then say, well, your second term can only be 3 years?
Why not make it unlimited?
I don't think it should be unlimited. But I do think 2 6-year terms would be the most stable, while also, again, like providing for, like the counterbalance against political gridlock, like you were saying.
So why not make it unlimited?
Hold on, one at a time. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh, I just think 1 term, like, basically makes a president not at all accountable. Like, they can get into office and from literally day 1 they could just completely ignore the will of the American people.
Like basically be a shitbag and not have any account. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could also say that for like any like final term technically. Like, he can get in office on his 2nd term, no he doesn't have another term, and still do that. But I feel like with 6 years in office, you kind of do get the like vibe of a president on like whether they're gonna push the boundary as far as they can go, or whether they're gonna stay faithful to like what the American people.
So if we give them 6 years, right? Do you think that we should loosen the laws around how we're able to impeach a president or remove a president from office in the case of malfeasance?
No, for the exact reason that, I'm sorry I don't know your name yet, but the same reason that she stated before. I think it caused way too much political instability. And then that would be like the entire discussion, which would only cause even more gridlock. Like, if you can loosen we're already having Republicans say to impeach Biden over like Afghanistan, just because it didn't happen the exact way they wanted it to. All right, if it was loosened even more, that's all our government would ever talk about. So no, I think impeachment is pretty well set up how it is. I just say I generally agree with you on 6-year terms, but no, I think it should stay 2 terms.
Thoughts?
Why not have a forever president though, Doobie? I mean, like, that's fucking, come on, man. That's
well, can
that's
you come
funny,
on? So
man.
you guys care about democracy, right? So if you guys love democracy so much,
So it's a doobie.
Democratically elect the person forever. Like it's every 6 years I hold an election. As long as the people want this person in office, why not let them vote for it?
Yeah, look, Russia's doing it. Do you think it's going good for Russia politically?
Do you not trust the democratic system? Do you not trust the people?
I think that's it. I have an issue generally with the representative democratic system to begin with, but not like I think the whole reason that you kind of don't want that is kind of the whole reason why a system that I would kind of advocate for would have different kinds of checks and balances to not return to things like federalism. We don't want to return to things like feudalism.
No, go ahead. Are you done? I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mark.
You're good.
Okay, Yorisa?
Yeah, I got her internet connection.
Okay, well, we'll sit
I have a
tight for you. We'll
response
come
to
back
Davey,
to you as soon as we can hear you, Yorisa. We'll come back. Okay, who has a response?
I actually have like a
Okay,
legit
no,
response,
Ben.
like within the status quo, like not saying to replace the whole system. The reason why you don't want infinite terms is because you want absolutely no incentive for a president to diminish the electoral process. The more incentive given, so if a president believes that they could literally be president forever, they have more incentive to ruin the political process or ruin any what's the best word to put this? Because I'm not finding the correct words. I have the argument. But basically,
Isn't it kind of the same reason why? Isn't it kind of the same reason why George Washington didn't want to be forever president or whatever? He like stepped down, or didn't he?
It's actually part of the reason he never had children too.
Oh.
But yeah, I think if you
Not
give
officially,
someone
anyways.
infinite
Not
terms-
officially.
If you give someone infinite terms, it gives them a motivating factor to decrease the representative process, i.e. by like stuffing ballot boxes, generally advocating for laws to loosen voting restrictions, or not loosen voting restrictions, but basically steer it in the direction where he does become forever president, which we don't want. So yeah.
Then why wouldn't you just put the democratic process, right? The actual process for electing a president into the Constitution, so that it requires 2/3 of the states to vote on this to even get a constitutional convention going, and then a further 2/3 of the states, right, to add or amend that part of the Constitution. And you could definitely enshrine voting laws in a way that makes it very, very difficult for anybody to fuck with them.
Here's the reason, because you'd have to deconstruct much of the Constitution to begin with to be able to accomplish that. If you actually read the Constitution, much of the way elections runs are explicitly left up to the states by the 9th and 10th Amendment.
We're talking about
literally, yeah. I mean, I kind of always play around in the realm of like realism. So I imagine like the way you would do this is to repeal the 27th Amendment, I think it is, that imposes term limits. I don't think it's the 27th Amendment.
Could you elaborate more on that? I'm sorry if I come across as uneducated. It's just I don't know what
Yeah, you're okay.
What is the 27th Amendment for? Sorry, could you elaborate on that?
I'm double checking myself. It is it is the 22nd Amendment. My apologies. The 22nd Amendment is the amendment that they imposed to add term limits to the presidency. It was after FDR won his third term. Basically, they're like, basically Congress in the states didn't want any president to ever have more than 2 terms ever again. So the 22nd Amendment is what they did to basically create term limits in the United States, pretty much permanently.
In other words, it was a really awesome progressive president, and a bunch of corporatists didn't want him to have the chance to keep running for office, so they found a way to push him out.
Wait, hold on.
I don't know
it's actually not that uncommon for us to amend the Constitution. It happened in the 90s. And so
yes, but repealing a constitutional amendment is rare.
It would take an amendment to the Constitution to institute a situation where you have someone that can be like to remove the term limit, right, for president. And with it, you could also put the enshrined voting laws into the Constitution, make it very difficult for them to be fucked with by a president.
Okay, do you know how long the average like constitutional amendment is, like in words?
Why is it relevant?
It's relevant because if you took all the voting laws and combined them together into like a constitutional amendment, it would probably be triple or quadruple the size of the Constitution itself. No, that's just not possible.
So-
It's not feasible. It's not realistic.
So, you just have a sentence to this says that the
Question,
president
guys.
cannot go for it.
So, for me to understand it, I just don't want to do any point or anything. I'm just asking questions because I really, it's a really interesting topic. So, I just want to know where are the resources you guys have in the states in order to amend the constitution, and how long is the constitution, and how can you like modify it? Sorry, yeah. That's my question.
It's very hard to modify the Constitution in the United States. It's extremely hard. You have to have a constitutional convention. There has to be a preponderance of states that agree upon the fact that there needs to be a change to the Constitution. There's been a big movement to do this, to subvert the Citizens United effort, which passed through the Supreme Court, which allowed for corporations to be counted as individuals when they donate to political campaigns. So there's a huge movement to do this, but it's massive, and there's also there's potentially negative effects from it, because there could be people pushing good things that pass through that. There could also be some really there could also be some really bad things that get pushed through that, because it ends up being a congressional a constitutional Congress like that.
His argument. I wanted to understand. He was saying that the amendments, like the unamended, compiling all the laws for election would be bigger than the constitution. So I was trying to understand the gimmicks of his argument.
So basically, the logic of the argument is the Constitution mostly imposes absolute laws, of which are pretty cut and dry most of the time. And when they become a little bit less cut and dry is when the Supreme Court is meant to interpret those laws. But the entire United States Constitution is only 7,500 words. It's extremely short if you compare it to any.
The Spanish one.
Yeah. So it basically, the U.S. Constitution is meant to just put on the table what liberties we have and also what rights we have. I think trying to pass a constitutional amendment stating each and every single individual aspect of voting laws in order to ensure that we have a safe and secure voting process would be logistically impossible, and also good luck getting 2/3 of the states and also 2/3 of both houses to ratify very specific words, of which it would take the subsequent follow-up actions of 2/3 of all states and 2/3 of both houses to repeal. 3/4, you're correct.
Yeah, 3/4. Okay, correct.
2/3, yeah. 3/4 of the states, 2/3 of both houses. Good luck trying to convince literally any politician, no matter whose side they're on, no matter what political alignment they have, to pass that, because then when the other person isn't, basically you're never repealing it. And it's just way too much. It's not logistically possible.
The reason why he's saying doesn't make any sense is because you don't actually need to write out all the voting laws, every particular detailed voting laws to do this. You just need to, if the concern is that the president is going to advocate for and push policy that makes it much more difficult to get him out of office, to change voting laws in the states or at the federal level, to make it difficult to get him out of office, then you would just need to put in like a sentence or two that says if the president can advocate for or propose or support policy that changes the voting laws. And if he's found if he's found to do that, then he could be acting against the Constitution. You get rid of him. Like, you don't need to enshrine every fucking voting law in every state.
Okay, then why don't? Okay, but if so now you're just restricting the president. What if the president goes in and has an individual meeting with a ton of policymakers in private and says, hey, let's have this meeting where you're going to do this political action for me and I'll do a favor for you. I'll do a favor of signing any executive order you want me to, so long as you propose this legislation and you pass X voting law to make sure that I become forever president. Like
So,
that's
the
super,
reason-
super easy to do.
No, it's not. No, it's not. What are you talking about? So given that,
What are you talking about?
Okay, well, I can explain. So given that him doing that act, right, would be unconstitutional.
Okay.
So that's obstacle number one. Obstacle number two is that it would take 2/3 majority vote to get this proposed amendment even on the fucking ballots, and then it needs to go to the state level, where the state legislatures, after the governors, by the way, so the state legislatures need to agree to it. 3/4 of the state legislatures need to agree to this before it to be put on the Constitution. It is very fucking for him to like do this. It would be a grand fucking conspiracy, right? And if he could pull this off, he deserves.
Obviously, you've never heard of Watergate. Obviously,
No,
you've never heard of Watergate.
Watergate is nowhere near the level of this. Watergate was. Hey,
No, it is
I didn't know-
exactly the level.
Yurista. Okay, hold on. I've let this go for a second. I've let it exhaust itself. Let's go to Yurista.
Guys, I have a question, right? So, Doobie, you were saying that it would be impossible to regulate from the Constitution an election law, right? Because it would, at first, I get citing apart how difficult it would be to get the majority of the parliament or whatever you have to get in order to do that. You'd say that it would be logistically impossible, right? But I think that the U.S. would actually benefit for such law in a blinded law like the Constitution. Maybe you don't need to put it inside the Constitution, but maybe give that law the status of untouchable regulation, because that will secure that will stabilize and would lock any kind of resources that political parties, which always look for their own interests, would try to advert in order to gain power. Like in Spain, the regions, like the political regions, our constitution is also only to provide like the minimum of our rights and constitution and stuff like that.
Right.
So inside the political rights, we have the right that everyone is equal to access the political power. So regions, in order to equilibrate or balance the power of different regions because of population, and stuff like that, there is rules that are untouchable and cannot be touched by parties in order to determine how many senators any region gets, or So having that in the Constitution, it's something that every Spaniard knows that can be untouched and are the rules of fair play. So I don't know, maybe it's too difficult to put all of those laws that you're talking about inside the Constitution as we know it today, but give those laws status of you cannot touch this unless you have certain majority in the parliament. Wouldn't be like a fair playground for everyone? Wouldn't that be better?
That's what the so it is a really big deal to amend the Constitution. Right? So what it takes, I'm going to go through the process. So what it takes is 2/3 of the legislature needs to vote to propose the amendment, right? Just to propose the amendment, not to pass the amendment, just to propose it to the states. And then it goes to the state governors, right? The state governors need to agree to the wording in the amendment, and then once they agree to the wording of the amendment, it goes to the state legislatures, and then they need to vote on it individually, and then pass it at 3/4, right? It doesn't get into the Constitution unless 3/4 of them pass it, right? So that is a big deal, right? That is not easy to accomplish.
Yeah, it's a very hard thing to get a constitutional amendment passed, and there's a question as to whether or not it's too hard. But that's exactly like he's nailing he's hitting the nail on the head with that. That's exactly what it is, and
so. If the thing that I'm talking about is somehow worded in the way that the president can advocate for or support a policy that publicly that changes the voting process in any of the states, right, then all it would take is one of these state legislators that he's speaking to say, hey, the president came to me and told me to push this policy for him, right? And hey, holy shit, that's totally unconstitutional.
In reality, you only need one. Actually, no. In reality, you only need one. Look at the power that Senate Majority Leaders or House Speakers have. They can whip people into line very easily and very quickly.
If that were true, then when the Democrats had the majority, they could get universal health care through, but they can't, right? Because even when they have the majority, they have this whip into land. They can't fucking do it because these people want to stay in positions in their own states. And
No,
a lot of
I'll
the-
tell
a lot
you
of
why
these
they
more
don't fucking do
conservative
it.
states
Because
that don't support the universal health care, even if they're Democrats. Right, so it's not very easy to whip these people in line. This is why they can't get shit passed. What are you talking about?
when it comes to voting laws and getting a forever president that they agree with on 90% of issues, I guarantee you it'd be extremely easy.
Which state
The reason
agrees
why-
with 90%? Okay, which state first off? But then which legislator agrees
not
with the
saying a
president on
state.
90% of issues? What are you talking
Okay,
about?
you just defeated your own argument because
No, I
what
didn't.
state? Okay, so when do you think 3/4 of the states are going to pass this constitutional amendment when the opposite party is in power?
Okay,
But I think that you guys are focusing on getting the majorities when you're actually not getting in the fact that not blinding the laws of political rights and stuff like that, the insecurity that will stem, right? Maybe I'm
Here-
getting off.
Here, maybe I'll make myself a little bit more like clear here.
you're pretty
Yeah.
close.
I am not
You're
opposed.
wrong in
I am-
this one,
I'm not opposed to a constitutional amendment that will help strengthen our election laws, but I don't think there is a way that you can make such a law.
Sorry.
I am not. I do not believe there is a wording that you can come up with that would strengthen the laws so strongly where people's rights to vote would not be somehow able to be restricted.
I get that.
Literally,
Absolutely.
Unless you make it
it's not
unless
that
you
difficult.
make it 10 times as long as the Constitution itself, there is no
That's
possible way.
ridiculous. What are you talking about?
Okay, find me.
You can
Okay,
still
find
hold
me.
on. You can still leave the particular voting laws up to the states, and just say that the president cannot advocate for or support any voting policy ever, right? So that he cannot touch this. This is one area of the
Okay.
of legislation
Fine, then what
that he
prevent-
cannot
okay,
touch.
fine.
That he cannot support
Fine.
publicly or privately.
Oh, hold
what?
on,
It's
fine.
hold on. We're gonna go to Yorista, and then I haven't heard from Red on this. I want to hear what Red's got to say too.
It's, I don't need to say anything, so go ahead.
Red, you got something? Yeah, unmute your mic.
He agrees with me, of course.
Okay, then
No, I don't really think there's anything to talk about. I think you guys are wasting your time here.
I agree. This is like completely unfeasible. Like even if we
Yeah.
wanted to be in a dreamland where this would be it won't ever happen.
Oh, I muted the
So-
frog
so
as soon
let's-
as he came in. I don't give
So
a
let
shit
so let's
whatever
speak.
he
So
has.
let's speak. Well, okay, Redon doesn't
Damn.
like him. He's always incorrect, and I'm always correct, and it's really frustrating for him. So let's be clear. So when you came in here talking to Jason, right, about his 6-year one-term thing, you think that's totally feasible. But my thing, where we respect democracy, is you guys all love democracy, right? So much. Where we, it's a country that loves and respects democracy, votes to allow their democratically elected leader to stay in office for more than 2 terms, maybe permanently. You think that's unfeasible? But Jason's idea.
No,
Come
what
on.
I'm saying is
Let's be serious.
unfeasible is for you to one, pass a constitutional amendment updating the 22nd Amendment, and thereafter also passing a second constitutional amendment in which 3/4 of the states would ratify an amendment that would have to be 10 times the length of a current
It
constitution.
doesn't need to be 10 times the length of the
No,
Constitution.
wait, let me finish what I'm saying.
Literally 2 sentences.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Please tell me how in 2 sentences you can
Oh,
ensure
oh.
that there would be absolutely zero way for the president or anyone aligned with the president. The president doesn't even have to advocate for it. What if the Senate Majority Leader agrees with the president on 99% of issues and wants them to be president forever? Kind of
bo-
doesn't matter, does it?
You both
It
are
doesn't matter
wrong.
if the president himself advocates for it.
You
If
both are
the
wrong
Democrat-
because Danny DeVito's in Yorista's like
Oh,
living
you're
room.
right. You're right. Danny DeVito is always correct. But no, what I'm saying is
Go ahead. Sorry.
there's not a way in 2 sentences that you can ensure voting rights for 100% of Americans.
I'm gonna grab a water.
You
I'll
also
be
have
right
to
back.
realize that voting rights have changed much over time, and there's no way you're gonna pass a constitutional amendment that is so freaking good in 2 sentences that it will also be future-proof for future generations. Now, I think if you were to come up with some legitimate process of which we make passing constitutional amendments easier, because the founding fathers even said that we need to update the Constitution once per generation, which is once every 20 years, in order to stay relevant and current with the times, and that has not really been a thing that we've done at all. Then maybe I would agree with you. But at this current moment, with it being extremely difficult to pass constitutional amendments, I don't think you're ever going... Republicans are trying to take away voting rights as we speak in states like Georgia. You think they're gonna pass a comprehensive, fully expansive voting rights constitutional amendment? You're insane.
Yeah.
President, that would actually pass.
Yeah,
Can I respond?
forever
to
president,
bullshit you said?
forever president. In a realistic situation, Joe Biden croaks. Kamala Harris is forever president. Like,
Okay,
bam.
so
Like,
the
holy
reason
shit,
everything
dude.
he said is really stupid. One of the
Everything.
reasons.
Like
So-
everything.
So first off,
Alright, sure.
the thing that Jason was proposing would also require a constitutional amendment. You thought that was realistic enough to talk about it, and now you think my thing's not realistic.
Yes,
realistic, even though
absolutely.
it also requires a constitutional amendment. That's kind of weird. Secondly, you don't need to enshrine every single aspect of voting law for this to work. All you need to do is have an amendment that says the president shall not advocate for shall not publicly or privately advocate for changes to voting law. Simple,
I've
easy.
kind of already responded to
It's
that.
literally
No, it's not.
no, you haven't. Because even if his supporters, let's say someone in Congress or something, right, very much supports the president and wants him there forever. Well, that's representative democracy, right? These are your representatives. Right? So if you're going to restrict them, well, then you just don't like democracy.
Hey, what's up, here?
It's super easy
Hold
to
up,
like have somebody check.
So-
It's like I'm gonna. Oh, my bad.
Sorry, Mark. What were you saying? I'll go ahead afterwards. It's a question, so you can elaborate on your argument.
I'm just gonna echo what Ben said. It's super easy to like have somebody check for wires and shit like that, and be like, "All right, come in this back room." And
Reference says it's just something to ask the population their opinion.
It's kind of like
opinion
a
can be off. So first you will do like this unbinding referendum to see what the opinion of the population is, and later on you do a binding referendum in order to give credibility to that question. So I don't know if that would be something that the states could implement, like having a referendum to ask the public who are going to be binded by that law in order to change that law. You know, I don't know if I'm getting my point across.
No, we don't do real democracy here. We only do representative democracy.
Yeah, we.
Do not do a referendum. It did not end well.
I already stated why I disagree with the referendum. I think it causes political instability and even more gridlock than we already have.
Look what we have in the UK now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It causes
Why
so
the
much
fuck would you want
instability.
this?
Yeah,
Do
no,
me
I don't want
back up.
referendums.
Back up. I do not want to
Jamie,
see your nostrils.
don't be mean to me, okay?
I'm horrified. I do
Jamie,
not like
don't
this.
cyberbully
I'm
me.
feeling
What the fuck?
uncomfortable. I don't like it.
Janie, I've had a beer and 3/4, and you're gonna come here and cyberbully me? What the fuck? It's really rude.
Oh, that must be why he thinks everything I say is dumb. Anyways.
Well, no, you're just. What's surprising to me is that I'm a lightweight. Right? I've had beer and 3/4. That means I'm like very tipsy, and you're still fucking stupid. Way more
Nah.
stupid than me.
Alright, so
It's
first of
very,
all,
it's very surprising.
Hey, let me acknowledge, first
Dude,
of all, Watergate.
says the guy
Watergate
that's
would've-
like advocating for Putin in the United States, basically. Like,
Yeah,
come on, dude.
basically.
I just love democracy. Like I thought you guys were democratic people. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Putin loves democracy, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody in Russia thinks Putin loves democracy,
The
dude.
You guys just must not trust your fellow
effective
They
Americans.
voted for Putin, just like you're saying. Everybody voted for him, right? They quote unquote voted for him.
The effect of the policy you are trying to invoke would absolutely lead to Putin eventually. I'm not saying it would
Okay.
happen right now.
Can you show
I'm
me
saying
where?
eventually.
Can you show me where your crystal ball, your tea leaves show you that? Like, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
also, by the way,
Say hello to
my
my
Yeah.
dog. My dog says
I
hello to you
I had-
guys. She's
We're
Also,
talking
I had
about
my-
all
Yeah.
history anyway. There's no sources for all history. Come on, you guys.
By the way,
She's very big.
My example is Watergate. If they didn't catch the people who broke in, that's my example of how political corruption could very easily spiral into a situation where elections get rigged.
Very
That
easily accepted. Didn't happen.
straight up would have happened.
Okay. very
if
easily
Watergate-
accept. You know, the situation you're talking about led to a president resigning from office. Okay, that's
Yes,
very easy.
and it all came from a string of people who slipped.
I only
up in
sleep
a
4
break-in
hours a
and got
night
caught.
at the
If
most.
those people didn't get caught, Nixon would have never been caught in this scandal.
It's been like
Not at all.
that since I was
So you're
like
saying
8 years old.
somebody- Let's say 50. And you're saying to suggest a constitutional
This is
amendment.
much
How
bigger
the
than
hell-
this is
hold up.
much bigger than Watergate.
How the
Like, what are
hell?
you talking
No,
about?
let me finish.
Hi, guys.
You're telling
That's what it is, man. I told you.
Have an amazing
I'll
day.
see. Take care, Maria. Thank you.
My point is,
Wait,
I
who
think
left?
even though,
Oh, Maria didn't leave. Oh shit.
in
Okay.
comparison to current times, yes, this would be harder to achieve than Watergate.
Much
What
harder.
I'm saying, okay, but what I'm saying is when you put an amendment in the Constitution, it is so hard to change that you need to future-proof it. I think you cannot, in 2 sentences, future-proof all voting laws in America. You're insane.
I just did. What do you, I just
No.
gave you? Wait, hold on. We're not
What, the
talking.
president?
We're not
No.
talking. We're not talking about enshrining all voting.
Wait, what are
laws
the
and
two
that's forever.
sentences? What are the two
What are
sentences?
the 2 sentences?
So what-
Yeah,
so what-
please, give me the
So
2
what you
sentences.
told me you were concerned about, Mr. Ben.
Give me, no,
is
give me
that-
the 2
okay,
sentences.
hold on. What you told me you're concerned about is that the
You
president.
sat here and argued about this,
Oh
and you
my
didn't
God, hold
ask
on.
what the two sentences were. Wait,
Yeah,
what are we
gave it
even
to him. I
doing?
gave it to him like 3 times. Okay, so he
No,
told me that
he
we have
said
to-
the
oh my God,
president
can you?
can't advocate.
I want to be sure. I want to be sure that I understand what you're concerned about. Because you said that you're concerned that this would give the president an incentive to support voting laws that would make it much more difficult for people to vote against him, right? So to keep him in office forever, right? So the way that you fix that concern is you make it unconstitutional for the president to support any voting laws at all, ever. Speak
That,
about
that
voting
doesn't
laws at
fix
all.
it.
How?
That doesn't fix it because somebody who's not the president can advocate it for,
That's
for
fine.
it just as easily.
It's a representative democracy. If-
Okay.
If
it
people
doesn't matter.
elect,
Okay,
if people elect a
fine. What about the
representative,
vice president?
and that
What about the vice
representative
president?
chooses
What about
to
the vice
amend voting
president?
laws,
They'll
and
do it
that's
out there.
representative democracy. What are you
What
talking
about the
about?
vice president? Huh?
You can include the vice president in the constitutional amendments. And
Okay, how about this?
Dude, we have
What if
no
he doesn't
arguments
explicitly?
against
What if he
fucking-
explicitly doesn't vocally advocate for it in public or behind closed doors?
This
But
is
he
like
signs
the
executive
N-word
orders.
debate
Oh, hold
with
on. We're
Well,
gonna
that
go.
would
We're
be-
gonna go
that would be
to.
unconstitutional.
Hang on. We're
Yeah,
gonna
let's
go.
have
We're gonna
Janie.
go to Janie. She just dropped in. I want to give her a moment to speak. Then we're gonna go to Marcavius. Then we'll go back to Doobie. Then we'll
Jason.
go back to.
Jason,
Nah,
you
Ben.
realize, you realize Janie is
Dude,
British, correct? Like, you
It
understand?
doesn't matter. Shut up. Go ahead.
God damn it.
Fuck you, dude. I literally have nothing of worth to add. I'm just swinging by before I get my
Because she's
lunch.
British.
Also,
And
I love you,
always,
Jenny, I'm
I like, yeah, you fucking better. I am going on a panel tonight too, so if anyone wants to support,
What kind of panel?
some love.
Yes, throw us some. Where we? Yeah, Prem's panel.
Tell me about the
No,
panel.
Hans.
Hans.
panel, no,
Hans.
It's on. Is Joe Biden a good president, and is there corruption or something?
I will be
to
there.
support you every
Yes.
step of the way, even if you're incorrect, which you will be. Okay.
Hans of Vakirs that plays at 1 p.m. Eastern U.S. time and 4 p.m. Pacific U.S. time. So check that shit out on Janie's channel, Queen Janie.
You sound fucked up. You sound.
Danielle,
wasted.
drop me a link, by the way.
I've been smoking a lot of weed tonight.
Bro, wait,
You
hold
can
up.
find a
How dare
link
you-
in
how
my
dare you
bio to
disagree
my
with
Twitch
that?
account.
I am trying to find it currently. Just type something in Twitch chat real quick.
You don't wait. You don't know. You don't follow Janie. You don't know what Janie's on. That's
Hey,
insane.
I'm. New
I
to
thought I
this
did.
thing,
I
alright?
thought I could do
Janie
that
is
shout out
This
thing
is
to
literally
have her come
my
up.
third time watching Jason, and like
Look,
I've watched other people
Janie-
maybe once.
Janie.
I've
is
Queen
the
Janie
only
is
British
awesome.
person
Screenshot.
to tolerate.
Hopefully that works. I don't
When
think that
we-
worked.
When we take over.
Damn it!
Britain,
I need
Janie will
to.
be
I
our
need to get my
next
links
president.
right.
Well, I'll let her live.
Check general. It's
She's
in
one of the
there.
good ones.
Alright,
No,
sounds good.
Doobie. For let's take some any of the conflicts off the top of your. I'm also like I'm high. We're both like it's the weekend. It's all
Fuck
good,
me,
dude.
Jesus.
Any
I'm the only one
conflicts in the
100%
world? No, you're high on life. You're high on our
Oh,
presence,
you
dude.
you're right. You're right.
good. You're good here. No, you got it.
Yeah,
you
do
got
you know
the
who I
bucks.
think I am, Ben? What the fuck's
No,
wrong
no,
with you?
no. Any conflicts off the
You're
top of your
obviously a
head,
frog.
right? Any conflicts off the
More
top
like
of your
a
head in the
toad.
last 40 years?
Fact.
Like, can you think of any conflicts off the top of your head where you're like, you know what, that was justified. I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they fucking took care of that. You know what I mean? Any conflicts? Any civil war? Anything
World War
like that?
II.
Yeah, of
World
course.
War II.
40 years. 40 years. World War II.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
Afghanistan, Iraq, like.
Or Iraq?
Those are
You
fine.
think? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think? What about Iraq? What do you say about Iraq? You say.
Pretty good.
What about the Ba'ath Party? You think was bad?
Don't care. They were in the way of American interests, and that's enough for me. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, you know that makes it really fucking easy, dude. Man, I wish they would have had you instead of fucking like Colin Powell and shit like that. It made it way easier, dude. Fuck all that anthrax bullshit, dude. Like, goddamn. Fuck that. Like they could have just not went to begin with if they had somebody like you.
Grunge, you can hop in the Discord, bro.
We support the interests of the United States wherever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about anything.
Yeah. So you're saying the first Iraq war? Or you're saying the second one?
Both of them.
Both of them. So you're saying both of them. So that's the thing. Like, the big thing that
You're good,
that,
Queen
you know,
Janie.
that
Hey,
sold
I'm so
the
glad you
American
hung out with
public was,
us.
you know, like saving the Kurds.
I think it's
and
really cool you're
defeating the
popping in. I
fascist
appreciate
path.
that, and I'm gonna pop into your
I
stuff
don't give a
too.
fuck about defeating the fascists.
Well, like you're a nationalist, right? You want to protect American interests, so you got to sell that to everybody, you know, because you'll sell that to the nationalists, you know what I mean? But you're gonna sell it to everybody. And that's
I mean,
the
I
thing
was
we were
actually
just
pretty
talking
upset.
about when you joined. We were like, you know, yeah, we could use the echo chamber, but that's only gonna get, you know, for example, 20,000 views. But if we got different views, talking,
You know,
we're gonna
just
go to
a
all
bunch
these
of,
other views
like,
and shit like that, and
drunk
different people
asses,
talking and shit like that's
stone
more
people
valuable.
talking shit.
So,
That's
you know,
all.
you as a nationalist,
This
to get
isn't
your
like serious,
interest,
like
the
prime
American
panels and
interest
shit.
protected, you got to sell that shit to the American public. So you use the anthrax, you use the fascist Ba'ath Party, you use the oppression of the Kurds.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I'm in office. I'm an honest.
I just like to
okay?
launch missiles at people at random for
I
fun.
would tell
Like,
them,
Hey,
we
hey,
need the oil,
I
we
have
need
a
the influence of the
question.
region.
Uh,
We don't
I
like
if you're
this.
a
found out
nationalist,
to eat.
wait, hold on, Janie.
I gotta head out and get food, okay? 'Cause,
No, you don't need to eat. Stay here with us. What the fuck?
I gotta eat though.
Why do
Yeah.
you, Janie? Do you really need Janie?
It's called Uber Eats UK.
Janie, to really need to eat more. Like, let's be honest. Like, come on.
Don't say that somebody's had in Minnesota.
I'm sorry. Look, I just don't want you to go. Okay.
Okay. I'll
That's
stay.
it.
We appreciate your contribution to the
I've had 2
conversation. That's why.
beers. I want you to stay. Okay. That's all I'm asking. You drink and stay.
I just spilled cold coffee all over my
Alright,
brand new
quick
keyboard, but
question.
you
If
know,
you're a
hey.
nationalist, and we've wasted about $7.5 billion on Afghanistan and Iraq over
It's just
the last 20 years.
Oh, way
Seven
more
why?
than that. Way
Why?
more
Yeah,
than
no,
that.
Yeah, I
Way
know.
more
Well,
than that.
7
Way-
trillion, my bad. I said,
Yeah,
I
there you
said
go.
billion,
There
I meant
you go.
trillion. My
There
bad,
you
my
go.
bad, my
Yeah,
bad.
you're
That's
good.
better,
Misworded.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's more
7
like-
trillion, my bad.
Numbers.
Yeah, bro, I can't words. All right, it's 7
No, you're good,
a.m. I
you're
haven't
good, you're
slept
good,
since
you're good.
yesterday morning.
You're good,
Anyways,
you're good.
if we've spent $7 trillion and you are truly what's in the best interest of the United States, don't you think that money could have been better spent on healthcare, free? Okay,
What are you talking
that's
about?
not my point. My point is when they overexpand before they have their own shit in check, they crumble.
Yeah,
Roman
we
Empire
have
crumbled
our own-
due to
okay,
overexpansion.
The Roman Empire didn't have what we have in the United States. Okay, you can't really compare the two. But personally, I do
Yeah,
support.
you can. History
I
repeats
do.
itself
I do
all the
support-
time.
No, it doesn't. That's stupid. I do support universal health care. I could support UBI. I could even support a right to
That's cool
but
at all.
I could even support a right to housing. Right? Like I'm very much a. I think a nation should take care of its people.
But
So-
does that nation have to be only inclusive to the people in that nation, or are they allowed to
I
bring
think your
people into that
priorities
nation?
are
Yeah, I
mis-
support legal immigration, of course. What do you mean?
Yeah.
As long as they're immigrating legally, I don't
Cool.
give a fuck.
I I find it funny that like you're in favor of all these things, but you think we should waste 7 trillion on a war that isn't going to be won for hundreds of years. And even if we do add it as a state, as we expand, while we don't even have these nice things that you say you're in favor of, it will only increase the chances that we crumble because of either revolution or overexpansion towards territories that we cannot possibly control from a central hub of Washington, D.C.
Hey, we got a special appearance from Crunch Lord. What do you guys say about that, Crunch Lord?
The Crunch.
Yeah, I think if we threw away the Geneva Convention just this one time, I think we could win that war. But that's a different story.
It's the same story. Fuck. Okay, these are the Geneva suggestions. Okay, fuck them. I didn't sign up for them. Fuck the UN entirely.
But we're a representative democracy, right? Right?
Okay. Our democracy. Yeah. So first of all, I don't like democracy. Secondly, our democracy, right, as it is, didn't sign up.
Wait, hold on. You argued for democracy earlier tonight.
We as a country elected the leader in which signed into the Geneva Convention.
He was incorrect. I think we should elect another to sign out of it.
All right.
Yeah, the Geneva Conventions are shit. Like, what's good about them?
I'm not even like gonna argue with that. I'm arguing against the idea that you think that we as a country should not uphold the agreements that we as a country made.
No, I think we
with
should
the
pull out of
elections
them.
that we did.
I think we should pull out of them. I think that sometimes whenever it's democracy, which I don't like, by the way, we should
pull out of human rights.
The populace is really fucking stupid,
stop them.
and they vote for really stupid things that you need to pull out of later. So I think this is one of those.
Yo, guys, human rights are for Americans only.
Human rights don't exist. Human rights are fake news. They're not real.
All right, solid. Glad we're having
That's
a
the reality
discussion.
of the world we live in. Human rights are bullshit.
All right. Glad we're having a reasonable discussion.
What would you define as rights, and who decides what rights are?
The people around you. So your rights only exist so long as the people around you agree to them. Right? So like,
yeah, it's called social contract theory. Yeah.
So I totally
I
disagree.
actually agree with you on that.
Yeah,
but like,
so I totally disagree with the Geneva Convention and its version
okay.
of human rights.
Hey, guess what? The Geneva Convention is a contract, a social one that we all sign.
What I'm saying is we can. No, I didn't sign it. What I'm saying is that we should elect the leader with the balls to pull out of it.
Hey, did you sign your United States citizen documentation? Or was that signed when you were born?
Hold on, you said we all signed it.
Just remember, he's a frog. He probably didn't sign a lot.
What I'm saying again
U.S.
is we should elect a leader.
Is a social contract.
Balls.
U.S. citizenship is a social contract. You don't have a fortitude.
Beyond the means.
Hold on. Marcavius is trying to talk. Give it a second.
Beyond the fucking means, right? The same reason why Afghanistan couldn't be a state or an occupation state or just like a flipped government even is the same reason why Georgia and Azerbaijan and Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan all fucking exist, is because insurgencies are expensive and nation states don't have a way to defeat them really yet. That's consistent.
Hey, also take a look at our debt clock. Take a look at our debt clock and please tell me that we can reasonably afford expansion at this point when we can't even take care of our own citizens without going into massive debt.
Yeah.
Okay, Cringe.
The debt is meaningless.
I'm sorry.
Cringe has been trying to jump in. Hold on. Cringe has been trying to jump in. What you gotta say, man?
Yeah, we got to throw away the rules. Also, I had a question. Who signed the Geneva Convention? Was that passed by Congress and the Senate, or was it just the president that did it?
It's a foreign policy, so I believe it only needs to be the president, but we elect the president, so I don't believe it makes a difference. Yeah, it's a treaty, so it's a president.
Yeah. President can't
is it a treaty? I actually do not know. Let me go look it up.
So why can't another president pull out of the Geneva Convention?
They potentially could, and Trump actually was attempting to do something similar to that.
Bullshit. Human rights.
Okay, well, I guess I disagree with you, and I'm in favor of human rights. I guess that's where we're just gonna have to agree to disagree. I'm in favor of basic human rights, and you're not.
They're not
Cool.
real.
Glad we got that figured out.
No, they're not like they're not tangible, but like if
They're not
we can
tangible, but
agree
they're
that
real.
philosophical arguments
Hey,
can be
hey,
real, like the fact
hey.
that you can be a nationalist, then yes, of course, human
Hey,
rights are
is
real.
oxygen
You're
real?
real.
I can't touch it. It's not tangible. It's
You're
Am
oxygen.
I
breathing,
real? Am
It
I
is
real,
tangible.
bro?
You're literally breathing and breathing.
Okay, and I'm living
Human
rights.
Human rights are as real as you're fucking real, dude. So come on
Okay,
now.
no, that
We're
that
not
isn't
having
true.
the mushrooms
Because
argument
if you were
right now.
okay, because if you were to go to
Hey,
Afghanistan,
is philosophy real?
Ben, if you were to go to Afghanistan and try to say, "Hey, I have human rights as an American," they'd fucking shoot you in the face.
Hey,
are
is
you talking about?
philosophy real? Is philosophy
Oh,
real?
Christ.
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
What
talk
it
to
means,
the Taliban about the
what
Geneva
it means is things that are ideas or concepts are real. Just because they're not physical manifestations or physical things doesn't mean
They're
they're not
only real so far as people around you agree to them.
Is the number
so if
one
you were to
real?
if you were to go to ISIS and say, "Hey, I'm an American. Here's my human right to life and liberty," or whatever the fuck, they'd fucking cut your head off. They won't give a fuck about your philosophical human rights. They don't give a fuck.
Bro.
Who's
No,
cutting who
hey.
cut off?
Human rights are real just
Only I
because
have
people
right to
violate
know.
them. Oh, hey, go ahead, Jane. Sorry.
I'm the only one who has the authority to cut off anyone's head as the queen, so.
Solid.
that's my authority.
Janie,
Until
you're,
we cut off your head,
you're amazing.
like Queen
okay?
Elizabeth. And
Fuck you. You're not cutting off my head. If you do that, I'll just grow another head. I'm not gonna keep
Janie,
it.
I would never remove your head ever. Okay.
simp.
Just FYI.
Anyways.
I'm
Oh
not
wait,
a simp,
Twitch
what
banned
the
that word.
fuck?
I'm sorry.
Wait, how? Okay, I'm not a
I
simp.
apologize.
Janie's upset with me because I wouldn't have sex with a woman without with a condom on.
I'm not upset with you. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. Stick your dick wherever
You
you want.
hardcore
Yeah,
guy.
just don't stick your dick around her. You got a frog dick. Like,
Look at-
not
okay,
many people want a frog
Jason,
dick.
I want you to look up frog dicks right now and tell me it's not impressive.
I'm not
okay?
looking up frog dicks
Jason,
on-
I will 1000% impress you with my frog dick.
I don't care about your
not-
frog
it is
dick. I'm not looking it
disappointing,
up
okay?
because it's disgusting.
Beautiful, it is pristine. You would love my frog dick.
You know what?
Only on Tuesdays, baby. Only
Hey,
on
quick
Tuesdays.
question. Is interdimensional travel real?
No.
I've got
Just-
enough to
okay,
worry
cool.
about
It's
on
not.
that one.
But is it something we should strive for?
No.
Okay.
Why would we want to
Well,
visit other
name-
dimensions?
name
This is
literally any
complicated enough.
Okay.
Why would we
Name
wanna-
name any technological advancement that you want in the future. It's not real in the
But-
present,
but Ben-
but your answer would be that we strive for it. So even if they're
But
not
Ben-
real, we should strive to make them real.
That's a terrible analogy, man.
That's
But Ben, some people on
Nah.
this planet do not deserve.
they're not
basic
all
human
winners,
rights.
but it's
Ben,
fine.
Ben, some people on this planet do not deserve basic human rights. They should be blown up wherever you see them.
That
For
is
example,
completely incorrect.
Boko Haram, right? This group that thinks that little girls going to school and not being married away when they're 9 years old is like a negative thing. Those people should be exploded whenever they pop up, like 1,000%. Like, what are you talking about? They don't deserve human rights. They don't deserve a trial. They don't deserve happiness. They deserve to be exploded. Like, what do you mean?
All right. Well,
This is an
It's
integral
always-
cultural experience. The reason they do this is because it's been bred in, and it's been culturally perpetuated. I think there's
yeah. So who's the blame?
there's
Is it them or is
there's
it
an
their
opportunity
ancestors?
for
I don't
reteaching.
care.
There's an opportunity for
care.
reteaching.
No,
I
I
think there is a human rights aspect depending on how young the people are that we're talking about that are involved.
Look,
No, I
if
don't
they,
think
if I'm looking at Africa and there's these fundamentalist Christians that are burning people alive for witchcraft, these fucks don't deserve human rights. Fuck them.
What if they're a
should I care what
12-year-old
What
that's
if
been
I say-
indoctrinated?
So what if I say that you don't deserve human rights because I don't agree with every single moralistic decision you make? Where is the line? Make a
Well,
line.
okay.
Make it right
the
now.
the line is your ability to enforce that belief, right? You don't have the ability
Yeah.
to enforce that belief.
So the only line I have in whether it is right or wrong for me to kill you is my ability to kill you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Holy crap,
absolutely.
dude.
Okay.
Like everything.
Y'all are insane, and
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know
no,
what to go with that.
You're not a
Alright, whatever.
nationalist, dude.
Your
You're
rights-
a
your
despot,
rights-
dude.
Your rights
No, I
only
never-
exist so far as
Yeah,
people
that's a
are reading
despot.
them.
That's a
the
despot
reality.
position.
That's
This
how the
fucking
world works.
doobie con over here, dude. This is
Alright.
ridiculous, dude.
That's a
How
trip.
do
All
we-
right, well, Crunch, what you gotta say about it? I know you're trying to eat.
Okay, fuck you guys.
I'm gonna give it to Crunch real quick, and I know Janie's like been sitting over there. Oh, she got us on mute anyways. It's
Nah,
okay.
mans will argue with everything, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the truth hurts, you know. It is true, like, nothing in this world exists unless you can make it exist through means of force. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, you can't make anybody, like, recognize any human right unless you are capable of making them, you know? People aren't just gonna do it because they're nice guys.
Oh, here's a quick question. Is there any way you can force me to be respectful of you right now?
No.
Okay, but I'm being respectful of you right now, correct? I'm being respectful of your dumb fuck opinion. Yeah.
That's not respectful.
Cool.
What are you talking? You just.
That's called a meme, my good sir. Anyways,
because
I did it out of my own kindness, and yes, just because I did it, I can now prove that other people can do it. Because I would assume, because I am a basic human with basic human physiology.
You're comparing internet discourse
somebody
to
else
the real
can
world.
also do the same.
Nobody said that they can't do this. They need
Okay,
to choose.
no,
to do
he
this.
literally said you cannot force anyone to. You cannot get anyone to agree to human rights unless you have the force to force them.
True.
To.
Okay. So I'll give you an example.
He does not have. I do not have any ability to force human rights on him, but yet I am still respecting his human rights. That automatically disables his argument.
If I wanted to force you to respect me, I would break terms of service. So there is force involved, anyways.
You couldn't get me to respect you even if you did break terms of
That's
service,
not
my
true.
good sir.
Oh man.
If okay, so hypothetically, if a person were to fly out to another person's house, beat the shit out of them, break their back, and then fuck them in the ass until they agree to respect them, you could fucking do that.
Hey, but hold on, Doobie. You gotta understand the difference between respect and fear. There's a different. Oh yes, there is. Oh yes, there is.
Massive difference.
Fear is fleeting. Fear is fleeting. Fear is a very, very fleeting emotion. Respect is something that lingers. Fear does not linger. I will tell you firsthand, fear does not linger.
As somebody who has been physically abused in his life, I can certainly tell you I do not respect that person.
That's okay.
Not going to get into details, but yeah.
So Jason, when you're driving down the road, right, minding your own business, and a cop pulls up behind you, right? They just happen to be driving behind you, and you tense up.
Fuck the police!
No, because that cop is behind you, and you know if you fuck up, if you do anything that warrants him pulling you over, he's gonna find a reason to pull you over. Right, that's fear that you're feeling.
Fear is fleeting. I don't feel that. I don't feel that when a cop drives behind me. That doesn't faze me. You know why? Because nothing I do is illegal.
Scooby, pay your tickets, Scooby. Go pay your tickets.
Hold on.
Go pay your tickets, Scooby.
I am 100% legal when I drive my car, baby. I never have shit to worry about. It's like butter, baby.
I don't fear cops because I'm whiter than the wall behind me, okay?
No, we just learned Doobie's got warrants today, dude. We just learned Doobie's got that warrant, dude. Go to court, Doobie.
Get that taillight fixed.
I tend to talk on my phone while I'm driving, and I don't like the Bluetooth. So I just talk my phone.
He's admitting to crimes on Twitch.
Look,
there you go.
I'll admit it. I break the social contract all the time because it's not real. Okay. And the only way he gets enforced upon me is with scary police
Alright,
people behind me.
citizen, you go
And
for
charge
it, bro.
charge me $200 for talking to my cell phone. Okay, but I'm rich, so I don't give a fuck. It's not a big deal.
Yo, this man's whole political ideology is because he got a $200 ticket.
You got
No, this is the reality. Like, I don't understand why you're pretending you don't know this.
Oh my god.
Do you think people follow speeding laws because they?
I'm
just,
pretending
they
you know
disagree with the
anything
law?
by having this conversation with you right now.
Hold on. Do you think that people agree to speeding laws because they follow the laws, or is it because they know that if they go over the limit, they know there's a chance they're gonna get pulled over and have to deal with shit from the police?
Do you know why I follow speed laws? Because I know laws of physics and I understand that going over 60 miles an hour significantly increases my chance of death.
You're a liar. Nobody fucking thinks about that when they're speeding.
I do.
I speed like 24/7. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I'm a libertarian socialist in a sense, market socialist moreover. But as far as personal rights go, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I fly over the speed limit if I got a fast ass car that can do it. I ain't mad at it. It's fun as shit. I would hit the gas pedal and let's go.
No, Ben, and you know
The
how
speed
you,
limit is there because of
Wait, Ben.
actual science.
okay, but Ben, you know how
I don't disagree with the need for a speed limit, though. I'll give you
Hey,
that.
Ben, you know how you get Jason to follow the speed limit? So you put a scary cop behind him and pull him over, okay? You use force to get him to do it.
Cool. That
He's not
doesn't
gonna
mean
do it
he
because he's a
respects
nice
the law.
person.
He just fears it.
I sure as hell don't. And you know what? I'm very good at evading them. I became very good at that.
Hey,
No.
hey, Jason, if you don't mind me asking you real quick, what state do you live in?
I'm in Arizona, man. I'm really good at evading cops. I have to evade cops to survive. Otherwise, I die.
I'll have you know,
Straight
I
up.
live in Texas, and I do
Oh.
not respect the laws on weed here at all. All right?
Preach. Church. Church.
You shouldn't do weed.
Alright.
That's
I'm never getting
Ben,
an
okay,
abortion.
Ben, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing weed. You shouldn't do weed until you hit 25. It actually impacts.
To be fair,
it
this is
actually
also
impacts
just
your
a
brain-
hypothetical.
brain-
Hey,
Oh,
chill.
Don't listen to him.
no,
His,
I'm telling you,
his
it's a
fraud
bad
paws
idea.
are
No,
really weak. He
hey,
doesn't
look
have
it
any
up. Hey,
Look it
force
up. Look,
to
there's studies on
enforce
it.
his
There's
laws.
research.
I
Ben,
know-
I care
hey.
about your brain. Okay,
I
like,
know.
just don't do weed until you hit 25.
Just shut up and I'll tell you. All
Please.
right?
It's bad
No.
for you, Ben. I'm worried about you.
I actually agree with you that it's bad for me, and I don't
Stop
smoke
fucking
that
it.
often.
You shouldn't smoke at all. It's really bad for you.
I actually kind of really don't. I did.
Lying ass bitch. Listen to this dude lying.
I'm gonna smoke right now, or you guys can all not smoke. I'm gonna smoke.
Okay,
Oh,
so
God.
Don't
no.
listen to Doobie. His
Legit?
frog
No, I
paws
actually-
are really
this is-
really weak, and
this
he
is-
doesn't have. Any
I'm in
force
Arizona.
to
It's a rec
enforce his
state. I can
ideas.
smoke all I want.
this is an off-topic like thing. This is an aside. But the reason why I don't really smoke weed that often, I do it like with friends or whatever. But the reason why I don't smoke weed that often is because it really doesn't affect me that much. Do you guys have any fucking clue how to get around that? My brain must be too wired or some shit.
No.
Shut up.
Hey,
I don't
yeah.
wanna hear your opinion.
If you want to know,
Ben,
I'll
seem
tell
like a
you,
smart
Ben.
kid. Don't do it, okay? It's bad
I'll tell you, Ben. What's up?
No, I'm just curious.
How often do you smoke? How often do you smoke weed?
Like, it's not often enough to where I can even put a time on it. Like every now and then it's like twice in a week, and then every now and then it's like twice a year.
It's not going to
Right.
work for you the same way as it does a lot of people, and I'll tell you why. Because you're not allowing your
I'm gonna
body.
mute Dobby real quick. Doobie or whatever the fuck his name is. All right, go ahead.
You're not. So here's what's going on, right? Okay, your body has cannabinoid receptors, right? And if you aren't introducing that on a semi-regular basis, the way in which your body reacts to it is different. It's actually almost harder to get high when your body isn't accepting those receptors. Or
That actually
when
makes
you're
a lot of sense.
when
And no
your
one's ever
body
put it to
isn't
me that
accepting
way
that on a regular basis. So as a matter of fact, they even say like this, right? Your shit, I can't say the word. Anyways,
Synapses.
cannabinoid receptors, right? Even if you want to use cannabinoid, there you go, cannabinoid receptors. Even if you want to use CBD, there needs to be like at least like a 1 to 100 ratio, 1 to 10 ratio of THC to CBD, because you need the cannabinoid receptors that cling on to the THC in order to grasp the THC, which then in turn creates the anti-inflammatory effects you're looking for, right? So in other words, if you're not smoking on a regular basis and you smoke once in a while, unless you're doing like dabs or you're smoking off a pen, it may not affect you. It may not affect you.
I've done dabs and it didn't do shit. Yeah. No, shred.
Hey, no, for real.
I smoked like for the first time in 8 years. I fucking got high as fuck.
Yeah. I
just 5 minutes
legitimately.
shit.
So
What was
the
it?
thing that got me the most high I've ever been which actually wasn't even that much. It was like slight lightheadedness and a tingling down my spine, was edibles, and I had to take like double the amount of everyone else. Other than that,
You gotta.
Are you on
never
it?
got a bong
Nah,
has never
for
got
real.
me high. A blunt has never got me high. Dabs did about the same effect as the
Yo,
edible.
do you
did,
have a
and that's it.
do you have a high metabolism? Is it hard for you to get gains? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so
skinny as fuck.
that's just how it is. Yo, I gotta smoke like an ounce every four days. I get it. You're fine.
Okay.
It's normal. That's life. That's just life for you.
Metabolism.
That's life for you. It's
Eat
normal.
a bunch of butter with your weed. Eat a bunch of cheese with your weed.
Alright.
Fats, because the weed clings to fats, and that'll
That's
that'll
weird.
boost
That's
your
like
high.
the opposite of alcohol.
Nah,
Do some
nah.
black tar.
No,
Oh,
no,
unmute,
no,
mute,
no,
mute.
no. I've been doing this for 16 years. Just drink,
Alright.
drink water, eat food,
To be
and
fair,
get good sleep. You're not
even
drinking
if-
enough water.
Canna
You're getting
boy.
enough sleep.
Hey,
That's really all it is.
Even if like I could find a way to make it work, I probably wouldn't smoke that often anyways. I'm a 22-year-old headed into law school, focused on buying my first house next year. I ain't got time for that shit. I ain't got money for that shit.
Hey, here's what I'll tell you. At this point in my life, if I wasn't in a place where it was either smoke weed or be in pain management,
valid.
but I wouldn't be there right now.
Yeah.
But it's a great alternative for me. It's worked out wonders for me, and I've been very fortunate to where smoking weed hasn't really horribly impacted my life. I'm not gonna say that's not the same for other people, and I think that personal results apply. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
I was actually super anti-weed as of like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's because my brother got addicted to weed. Like, obviously it's not physically addictive, it's psychologically addictive, but he got addicted to weed to the point that he would start stealing from both me and my mother, and just getting into just awful crowds, doing a bunch of illegal shit. And I was generally against it, but then I realized, oh, my brother's just a bad human being. Cool, got it. And also, I've kind of like more gotten into politics the last 2 to 3 years, and really did a lot of research on it. And yeah, the positive effects of weed far outweigh the negative. I would say still stay away from it if like you're somebody who wants to live clean and do the absolute most healthy thing for your body. But also, you can't be like, nah, I don't want to smoke weed because it's unhealthy, but then turn around and eat a McDonald's cheeseburger and tell me you're living healthy. All right, shut the fuck up. No, you ain't. So it's really no different than like alcohol, or it's actually less intoxicating than alcohol and less harmful to your lung than cigarettes. So there's no argument why it shouldn't be legal.
I don't drink, bro. I smoke.
Get it, Rocky.
Concur.
I'll catch you later.
All right, man. Yeah.
he came to hang out while he was hitting on a train. He was waiting for a plane, man. That was crazy shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out here too. It's 5 in the morning, man. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, I gotta do the same. Sleep time. All right, guys. Doobie, damn, dude, I can't believe you dropped in. 9 out of Ben. I haven't seen you drop into a chat before. That's so awesome, man. I'm glad you guys hopped in.
First time
Respect.
popping into any
Jason, it was
Twitch
4 a.m.
voice.
I had a beer. I was like, hey, what's Jason up to? I miss this. You came in here and you're doing Jason shit all the time. It's pretty good.
Rock and roll, man. I'm glad you popped in. All right, you guys. Have a good night. I'll be around 7:30 tomorrow. Peace out.